Look, I told you we will do this when I'm ready. No, I'm not embarrassed to introduce you to my parents. They're just traditional. We'll talk about this later, okay? Hi. I'm Cory, your GM for Tales of Aneria. And this is what we do in our off time. Just ask your DM. They'll agree. I just wanted to let you know that last episode was a little, different. And we know that some people only listen to the recaps. So if you're going to listen to this recap, you may be a bit confused. In order to get the full story, we recommend going back to session 9, and we'll put a link in the description of the point where you can watch from. That kind of tells you what happened and how it affects the story going forward. But if you just want to listen to the recap and be confused for a bit, feel free. But as always, enjoy the show. You put actual alcohol in this?
Some things are too much for one mind to bear. Writing this down seems to help me understand and process the events of late. Yesterday saw my family home burned to the ground. For a moment, I grieved, thinking of all the good memories held within those walls. My feelings quickly turned to anger. I felt hatred towards those that would destroy the last tether tying me to innocence. I am only beginning to realize the power of the forces at play. This group, the Infinite Sight, is the real reason my father wanted me to run. He's probably safer in an Arcanum-guarded prison than on the run from the Infinite Sight. This group is somehow bending the power of chronomancy to their will, using it in a lust for power. After a moment of watching the house crumble in flames, I was pulled away by my traveling companions. The Arcanum and the Knights of Greenwood were searching for us. We had no choice but to flee. Eve decided it would be wise for us to stay off the long road and travel through the fields and forests adjacent. She occasionally checked her magic ring for messages, something about Kes and a fishing delivery. It all felt unimportant at the moment, and we pressed on at as fast a pace as we could manage. Unfortunately, most of us had suffered injuries that slowed us down. We could see torches and hear voices of the search party near us. They were closing in, and we needed a place to hide, and fast. Suddenly, I felt the odd sensation of magic pulse through my body. I stumbled upon a hatch that led down into a darkened tunnel. With no time to spare, I alerted my friends and we climbed in. We explored the immediate area and decided it was a safe enough place to rest. While we tended to our wounds, Eve asked Victor about his family, the 8 wings, and his magical blindness. Victor told us that his mother is the leader, or the prime, of the Ruby Wing. He told us that to become a member of one of the wings, a potential candidate must undergo a process called the chrysaling, some sort of trial that proves your worth to the prime of that wing. Each wing specializes in different martial abilities, and one wing specializes in assassination. He explained that after completing the trial, the candidate would open a butterfly cage that corresponded to the wing that they were trying to join. The butterfly would fly to the prime, signaling the intention to join, and if the prime accepted, the butterfly would fly back. It's all very symbolic, and like most martial training, embraces the ideals of being held to a higher standard, a higher purpose, living within a code. However, in Victor's hubris, he opened the cages to all the butterflies, thus suggesting that he should not have to choose between the primes, but rather that they would have to choose him. His arrogance is the reason the Apex bestowed him with this curse. He cannot return home until he has proven to a prime other than his mother, the Ruby Prime, that he has learned humility. After this explanation, Victor's personality seems to make a lot more sense. On one hand, I feel he is a zealot of a murderous cult, but I can't help but to respect his commitment to his codes. He could easily have a shaman or cleric remove his cursed blindfold, but it would disqualify him from ever finding redemption. It reminds me of my years at the Talizam Academy, studying under masters of the Tushen. Our codes aren't all that different, and perhaps I may have more in common with Victor than I really know. After we finished discussing, Bolt presented me with a clockwork owl, something I don't remember requesting him to make. I must have, though, because of the stories my father always told me, growing up, about my mother and her owl companion. I wouldn't have picked anything other than an owl. He carefully placed the final piece, a hair clip, and the magical creature sprung to life. It circled the room before heading further down the tunnel. Shortly after it was pierced with an arrow, we knew we were walking into a trap. Seredan had devised a battle plan. She would surround us all in a magical darkness, and we would charge in, springing the trap, hopefully catching our enemies unprepared to deal with the advantage darkness would provide. This plan was quickly doomed. As soon as we crested the entry, Seredan's darkness was dispelled by some sort of arcane rune. We all broke for cover. Victor, running to the left, triggered more arcane runes, which nearly killed him. Archers let fly arrows, striking several of us. Bolt ran to tend to Victor. Soon after, Eve fell. Seredan rushed over desperately to revive her dear friend. Horrible, aberrant creatures descended and began shooting rays from their eyes. Before I could make sense of the battle chaos, I was knocked unconscious. When I awoke, I was bound to a chair in what appeared to be some living quarters. There was a writing desk, a canopy bed, nice furs, and directly in front of me, an evil-looking man with two other shadowy presences behind him. They appeared to be floating a few feet off the ground. I can only describe them as wrong. They seemed out of place, perhaps even out of time. The man wore the symbol of the eye within an hourglass. This must be the leader of the Infinite Sight. He already knew who I was, and introduced himself as Thulian Kroll. As soon as he said his name, I began tuning him out. I focused on committing his name and his face to my memory. He is my mark. Nothing else matters. My life's purpose is now to pierce his brain with my arrow. The man who upended my life. The man that destroyed my family. The man who hunted me and hurt my friends. This man would die. I tuned back in to catch the tail end of some question. He seemed to be giving me some sort of proposition. It didn't matter. I would never agree to anything this vile creature proposed. He showed me the book and told me he didn't need me to decipher it, not that I could anyway. The next thing I remember was magic tendrils piercing my skin, immense pain, and then visceral and fleeting images, memories, things that felt so real but also like I had imagined them. Then, darkness. When I awoke, I was chained to a wall, Bolt, midway through removing their manacles. They always were the smartest among us. Bolt helped the group out of our manacles, and some other oaf of a creature named Hug. Hug seemed to be collared with arcane sigils, but Bolt wasn't going to let some complex magic keep them from protecting an innocent. Good thing they did, because Hug got us our armor and our weapons back, and knew of a secret tunnel out. As much as I hate running from a fight, I know that I must sharpen my skills, practice my craft, and soon I will have my revenge. Thulian Kroll, you are a man living on borrowed time.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tales of Aneria, session 10. That's right, we've reached number 10. This is the last session. No,
That's a nice milestone.
No, it's not the last session, but it is a good milestone. I just totally brought everybody down by just trying to say it was last.
I literally stopped clapping. I got scared. I was like, but I just changed.
For reference, my 10th episode, I think at the time, like in the first week or two, it probably had like 200 views, and I was really excited about that fact.
Yeah.
So
thank you all for giving us 10 times the amount of views that Colby got at the beginning.
200 comments. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
And not just Preston.
Not just me.
spamming the same thing.
Don't worry, if you
Replying to
comment,
everybody.
I got you.
He's so friendly.
We've got some charcuterie to celebrate.
Yes. And delicious healthy snacks, because we need to be healthier,
Apparently.
I suppose.
Yeah, you eat charcuterie
COVID
and have dank sweats.
Just wasn't very kind
Yeah.
to a lot of our bodies.
But yeah, we're all back here, ready to go. Last time we had some major stuff happen, but tonight we're going to start out with everybody leaving a tunnel, with Hug bringing up the rear.
You remember Hug the ogre. And
Hug Dwarf.
we'll actually go ahead and start with a phrase from last time. It's not about cutting off the branch. It's about shaping the tree. And that runs through Ezra's head over and over again. The one part of Thulian's speech that he really grabbed onto, except for the name, is just that weird phrase that doesn't really make any sense. He didn't really do anything like that. He just tortured you a bit and then sent you on your way. It seems almost like.
What a
Feels
swell
like.
guy.
So yeah, how is everybody feeling currently?
Weird, but
Mm-hmm.
glad to be getting out of here.
Sarah is feeling a mix of shame and anger,
Oh, definitely anger.
and also relief. A mix of all of those things. Kind of torn between let's get out of here and wait, like, I gotta go back.
Are we
and,
really
like,
leaving right now?
you know, like, have another fight.
Okay.
Eve is feeling discouraged and disappointed in herself for letting this happen
Mm-hmm.
because she has someone to answer to
Yeah.
about that book. And also just getting a weird vibe from Ezra, like, feels like something is off about him.
He definitely looks a little less. Magical is too on the nose of a word, but yeah, he definitely looks a little bit just like he doesn't look to be glowing as much. There's not as much mystery and fancy around.
The honeymoon
him
is over.
as you remember.
The
What about Bolt?
infatuation has faded.
Perfect. Bolt's feeling relieved as well that we were able to get out. And also has a little bit of a desire to see this infinite site be dismantled.
Okay.
To take out Thulian and possibly the rest of the group.
Okay. And what about Victor?
Victor feels a lot like he did when he finished the chrysaling. He feels ashamed that he didn't measure up, and he feels like that because of his inability to be perfect, in that sense that he has fundamentally failed.
And then as far as Hug goes, he's just happy to be free. And with new friends. But we'll go ahead and, as you guys are just like pondering about this, just dealing with this in your own heads, definitely not for a whole week, trying to come to terms with things. We all come out of the cave that is Hug's home that he described. As you travel, if you do ask him questions about it, he does say that he lived in the cave that you found him in, and then the Infinite Sight came in and captured him, and then built the rest of the hideout out from the cave itself.
Okay. So this is like essentially the same location where we've been. It's not like we were sort of transported after we got knocked unconscious to somewhere else or anything.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the same place. You guys come out and you can see Ezra. I mean, you've been around this forest area before.
Right.
You've probably ranged all over Willow Creek Hollow and the natural forests. You followed the creek, literally Willow Creek, that is in front of you, and you pretty much know where you are. I'd say basically immediately. But to kind of get that, let's see how close you are with a survival check.
Okay.
Or nature, whichever you're better at.
I don't know which was.
Let's
It's a
go
new
with
character, right?
survival. That's a 20, a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, yeah, you definitely are like, we're literally not 500 yards from where we were in the field, you know. You can
well
still
on our
see.
way to Belle's Watch.
Well, I would say you're probably about a half a day's journey towards Belle's Watch at this point.
Okay.
There is quite a long way. Actually, I think Belle's Watch is fairly close, if I remember correctly. I
think
They
it.
don't have the exact
Last time we
distance.
said it was the next closest town, but I don't remember
Yes,
how many
it's
days.
the next like major settlement. On
Yeah,
the
it
road.
is. It is definitely the next major
Torrey.
settlement on the road. There are a couple like villages and stuff throughout,
Right.
that you can always stop by.
It's probably like 6 or 7 days away.
Let's see.
We'll consult the map.
Is it morning, night, afternoon? What time of day is it?
It is morning. It is the dawn is just breaking. You guys have
The
gone.
dawn is breaking.
I didn't expect that from you.
I know.
Everybody else does the singing.
But only took one level in bar. That's why that song.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This timeline has done weird things for everybody, man.
I hope we don't collide into anyone.
No.
Cruel DM.
So
Playing
the distance
games with my
between Willow Creek Hollow and Belle's Watch is about the same distance as Willow Creek Hollow and Six Hills. So it's about a 10-day journey to get there, which means that after that you've only got about 8 days until you get to Terrebonne itself. If that is still the destination, I think that you guys should have a little conversation, though.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely important.
Well, okay, sorry. What time of day did you say?
It is about dawn. And you can't hear any more like people searching through the forest. You can hear probably a couple willows. Willows? That's a type of bird now. It's a type of bird in an area. A willow bird.
It's
yeah.
from Willow Creek Hollow.
Yeah.
The willow bird.
Yeah, they
lives in
discovered
willows.
it. Like it is their bird.
It looks like an owl. Screeches
yeah.
at random times a day.
You can hear a couple willows calling out into the morning air.
Whippoorwills.
The willows are singing.
Well, I'm exhausted, but I'm not sure if now is a great time to rest. I can't help but think that these time bandits, or whatever they call themselves, are going to be hot on our tail.
I don't think they care about us anymore. They got what they came for. I'm sorry, Eve. I failed you.
It's not your fault, Ezra.
I know you probably think there's no reason to hang around with me anymore because I was your purpose or something. But
You were the meaning in my life. You were my inspiration.
has he always been this mean?
Don't you dip.
I quit.
He'll be back.
I supported you as the leader, and I don't intend to go back on that. Like it or not, you're stuck with me no matter where you go. I'm gonna see this through.
Wow.
So,
Great.
Nor the channel
where
will take
next? They all said go back.
Well,
I do feel a lot of pressure. I need to communicate with Lucan and let him know what happened. I'm afraid he'll be quite disappointed.
do you think the contractor will still be interested in us bringing Easy back?
Potentially, but I don't know what for.
I can give
Without
them
the book?
information on. I mean, we all have information. To
Maybe
provide.
we could give him your book and pretend that it was the only book that he ever had.
That is not. I would not want to do that.
That seems
Well-
a little dishonorable.
Agreed.
Perhaps Lucan maybe can point us in the direction of some information or some kind of supplies about the infinite site.
Absolutely.
And possibly we could return and
I mean,
get the book back.
we know where they live now.
Yeah, so at least
Well,
one
I
location.
doubt for long.
We know one of their hideouts anyway.
Did Lucan ever give you information about this infinite site? Or Thulian Crawl, the bastard?
No, he never did. But I'm curious how much he knows. Ezra, do you know these woods? Is there a place where we could rest for a brief moment?
A brief 8 hours.
Sure, I think I can find a place.
With that dirty 20, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, I know of a little cave somewhere.
Not this cave.
Not that
This
cave, a
cave's
different
bad.
cave. A good guy cave.
A hug. Thank you. You're so sweet.
It's the day. It's beautiful, right?
It is. Do you feel safe on your own?
You're leaving?
You can come along.
Yes. Hug, come along.
Sorry, everyone.
I found a nice cave. You can make it your home.
When was the last time you saw the sun?
You're looking a little pale.
Beyond the pale.
5 days?
You can only count to 5.
Okay. That's a long time.
It is.
Wow. You didn't even have to use your toes.
I have toes.
I can now count to 6.
Ogre feet notoriously just one.
One big toe. One big toe with a big toenail. Boom.
Pop toe.
Blah. So gross. Well, come with us, Hug. Ezra will show us to the cave, and we can rest for a moment. Or 8 hours.
Okay. And he's just gonna lumber along after you.
Okay.
He is now the lovesick puppy for now. So enjoy Hug's company.
He's adorable. All right.
Okay, so you guys make it kind of down this little winding forest path. You can tell that this is a game trail more than anything, and you eventually arrive at just a small cave. There's a brief tense moment where a badger is making its way towards the cave as well, and you kind of have this stare off, but it quickly realizes that despite its ferocity, it cannot take the 5 of you plus an ogre, so it will just scamper off for now. But it will be watching.
It'll be back.
And in greater numbers.
Yes.
So you guys can go ahead and settle down in the cave. It's not big enough for all of you and Hug. It's barely big enough for Hug as it is. So Hug is like, I'll just right next to the cave, and he just kind of like plops over next to it. And before you can even like give him any more suggestions or anything, yeah, definitely snot bubble. Yeah, he is asleep. He's probably been working for quite a while, more than 5 days, at least 5 days. Yeah, but you guys can go ahead and rest. You can take a long rest. And if there's anything else that you'd like to do during that time, you have the owl with you.
Mm-hmm.
It is broken, but you can work on repairing it.
I will start to repair the clockwork owl, just tinker with it.
Give me a check for that, just to see if you can get that done within this long rest, or if it's
Do sleight of hand?
you're just use your proficiency,
Proficiency?
like a tool proficiency.
Okay.
So it's your proficiency plus your intelligence bonus.
Okay. Dirty 20.
Yeah, absolutely. That better not be all you guys roll tonight.
After last time, we did.
You're able
But
to
also-
kind of pop out a few plates and make sure that they're like you hammer them out properly and make sure that everything is in working order. And you hand it back to Ezra because he asked for it, but you're not quite sure what to do with it anymore.
While I'm tinkering with it too, I occasionally reach into my bag of holding and grab a little bit of bird seed and sprinkle on the ground for my burb friend. Named Callisto.
Callisto. Yeah. Okay. I forgot about Burb Friend.
Yeah, I picked some up in Willow Creek.
She definitely starts pecking at it for sure. Is she a willow?
No.
No.
I actually have an idea for Will. I'll talk about it later. So,
Alright.
but
Yeah.
Ezra, I seem to have repaired it after they damaged it for you.
Thank you.
What
Looks lovely.
What was the particular reason you wanted me to make it for you?
I can't remember quite exactly.
We all get it.
Probably
Glad.
something to do with my mom. My dad used to tell me stories about. I mean, I don't know if they were true or not, but he'd tell me stories about my mom, and she had this glorious adventure, and somehow I must have been drunk when I told you. I don't know.
Wait, so you asked Bolt to make an owl for you, but you don't remember why?
Like I said, I was probably drunk.
What did they do to you in that cave?
I don't really know exactly what it was. It's some sort of magic thorns or vines or chains. I don't know. Something just wrapped around me and caused pain, and then I just woke up being chained up to the wall.
You don't think they removed pieces of your memory or anything?
Maybe. I don't see why, unless maybe I knew how to open the book and they stole that. I don't know.
Quick, what was the name of the one with the punchy face?
Braxton or something of the line.
I'm either rubbing off on him, or they did take some of his memories.
That does concern me.
Brander. Brander. Yes, punchy face Brander.
He remembers.
All right.
You're asking, did you know?
No. But I could tell by his response that he didn't either.
He could say Brander, and then she'd be like, "No, wait, is that it? I don't know."
Ah, you're wrong. Wait, no, you're not. Are you?
I don't know. It seems odd that they would just take my book and let me go. Feel like use me for leverage or torture me.
Why didn't
or,
they kill you?
I don't know. Maybe
I'm not saying I
they're
wish they had.
Maybe they're not as cruel as they come across. Maybe they really just needed the book and I was an inconvenience.
Maybe they're just really into pain, but not death.
Yeah, they're into some weird, kinky stuff.
Did they
Yikes.
say what they were using the book for at all? Give you any information about
No.
what it could do, perhaps?
No, they just said that I was in
Just
the
gonna
way.
feed these to Cory. Sorry.
That's my
Feed the
GM.
DM.
There you go.
Fig leaves.
You and me and Jambe.
I'm so sorry, Ezra. I was distracted by thoughts of feeding grapes to someone magnificent.
Those midnight berries.
Hug
or
snorts
whatever.
outside.
Where was I? Something about
They did something
pain.
to you.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know why they let
Do
me
you
live.
suffer from long-term memory loss?
No.
I can't remember.
I can remember my...
You got it.
Chumbawamba.
I
They
can
thumped your
remember
tongue.
my I can remember my childhood and my father, and I think everything is fine. I don't know.
Perhaps something we could look into later on.
I
feel
feel
like
good.
we might have a bigger priority at this point.
Yeah, we need to probably get to Lucan, right?
Let me send him a message with
or
my ring.
run from Lucan.
Your ring is
maybe.
gold, by the way.
Oh, there's a message waiting for me. Base.
It has a little unread dot next to it.
Yeah.
Actually, do we say that it was different for each person?
Yes.
So it's not cold. It's whatever Cascas is.
Smell of oil.
Yeah,
Oil.
smell of oil. Kes.
And the message is, reply. Everything okay? Yes, yes. No, no. Circle 1. And it says yes, yes, no, no, and then or in between.
Does it say, do you like me, but it's crossed out? Are you okay?
Oh,
Circle or.
Yeah, just circle one. This is
that's
mine.
so cruel. Oh, that brings back so many memories of my childhood. Okay. Kes. I will respond to him. Dearest Kes. Yes,
It's got
we.
this image of like him running down like diving onto his bed. He's got curlers in his head. Around his
I'll
horns.
spray some perfume on him.
But it's not his hair, it's one of those powdered
Angelica.
wigs that he found.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Dearest Kes, we are all right. I'm afraid we won't be able to meet you in Salsport, but do keep us in mind if you have any further jobs for us. XO, big X, little X. Big O,
Little hug,
O.
little kiss,
All the references.
big kiss.
Eve.
Alright. But then you can go ahead and send a message to Luke.
Okay, so Eve will send a message to Lucan that says, I have bad news. Ran into the time. Hang on, what do they call
The
it?
message just say, we need to talk, ...
Oh, God.
We need to talk, ...
Like 10 different, like 3 dots come back,
Yes.
and that's the only message. Is just the 3 dots that shows that they're typing something,
Like,
but then
no.
they're erasing it.
He replies back, yeah, we do. ...
Yeah, we do.
So then there's anxiety on both sides.
What are they called?
The infinite sight.
Infinite
Thank
sight,
you.
Time bandits.
yeah. That's what I keep
Yes.
thinking.
Time Bandits. Yeah.
It's a great show.
Oh, so good. Lucan, I have some bad news. The book was taken from us by the Infinite Sight. I await your reply.
I'm sleeping, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm just collapsed.
Yep,
on the
everybody
floor.
else, I mean, like, you're resting. Technically, you don't need to sleep during a long rest, but you absolutely can. So, yeah. So there's no reply immediately forthcoming if you want to go ahead and sleep yourself, or if you want to...
Eve will have some listless sleeping.
Okay.
I'm gonna go keep an eye out for that badger. You never know.
You walk out of the cave and it is creeping towards...
I'll be sentry mode. And I'll just go like this.
Just back up.
Eyes go red.
What about Victor? What's Victor doing?
Victor will be pensive, sharpening his knives.
Okay.
Just kind of deep in thought.
Okay. And then is Ezra doing anything else?
He will be pensive, sharpening his arrows.
I'll be broody and pensive.
Wow.
Oh, great.
You too.
The brood off. Here we go.
I cannot wait.
You're both trying to be more angry than the other one.
He's glaring at me, and I pull out like my pipe, like a cork pipe, and then I get that little glow.
Damn it, I don't have. You write that down to go to get yourself a pipe.
You just keep lighting matches.
Yeah, I don't actually have any tobacco. I just
Carrots.
My goodness, boys.
So everyone take a long rest, back up to full HP, recover spell slots, all that good jazz.
Much better.
And 8 hours pass, you wake up, and your ring is cold now.
Okay.
So you pull out the message, and it is a very curt message from Lucan that says, "Working." All right, you just like hand it to somebody else. Like, I can't read.
Sorry.
You read it.
Read this. I'm so afraid.
It's a very inappropriate drawing. Oh, sorry. Other side.
The first thing is don't look at the other side. Sorry. Wild night.
Some sort of rubbing.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Is that what he drew? That's what it's of? Something,
sort
some rubbing? Some sort of rubbing.
That's for you to decide.
We'll put that up too so you guys can see what the picture is.
We will not. And I don't want to hear what you think
It's
it
just Anna
was.
Lebowski when he does
Hey.
the rubbing, and it's just
DM me. DM me. I got you. I got all kinds of pictures of rubbings.
Oh no! This is
What did
gonna
you-
get pulled
what
off
did
of
you-
YouTube.
What did you feed Scott tonight before the game?
What's that song?
Oh no!
I said we should. Oh,
He's
no.
singing.
This is what happens. This is what happens when I don't eat junk food.
Yep.
You're welcome.
You're
We
excited.
need more junk.
You took those edibles.
That's the problem.
Someone get some gushers in there. Stat.
One for
We are
Scott,
so off
one
the rails.
for Dallin,
Sorry, DM.
one for Sarah for that whole conversation. Delightful, delectable, delicious.
It's not.
So it says disappointed.
Disappointed.
In the Kevin Sorbo
Yeah, in
voice.
the Kevin
Disappointed.
Disappointed. Continue traveling. Bring this Ezra to Terabon.
Crap.
I will meet you at Belle's Watch.
Put to death. Oh boy. Are we in trouble, Eve?
What's the worst that could happen? You get fired?
You still want to be
We've got you.
Ezra, right?
Are you
Sure.
are you reading it to us?
You're definitely like,
She's reading it to
don't
us.
attack us. Sari.
You're still Ezra. That was the plan.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I'm happy to double. I don't know if he'd be able to see through the charade, but
I mean,
It's worth a try.
I'm 120 feet away with an arrow ready, just in case.
sure.
Is that how far I can shoot? I think I
How
can shoot
much
that
do the people around you know about?
Did you do sharpshooter?
Oh yeah, I took sharpshooter. Doesn't matter.
How much
I can
do
do
the
that.
people around you
600
know about
feet.
you and your family? Like, if they ask her questions, she can barely remember her own name.
Well,
I remember my
the
own.
only thing about my father
Exactly.
is he's studied a lot. So that's really
And
all
what
I
is
need
the
to say.
name of Ezra's father?
Right. Trevor. Think of Trevor and then add an
You
N.
have it written on your hands.
I just have tattoos like all over my.
Like on Mulan.
Yep.
Memento. Right, Trevor. Trevor.
Trevin.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Maybe I should just go.
We have 10 days for
before we do practice this.
It seemed like a great idea at one point.
That was before
Do not
everything went
lie.
down the pooper.
Sarah's memory.
It's just names, really. It's the name thing. I don't know what it is. All of you sort of non-Dwarf people, your names all sound the same. That's why I have to make up nicknames for
You're
everyone.
like the embodiment of
Ezra sounds nothing like Victor, sounds nothing like Bolt, sounds nothing like Eve.
To you, maybe.
How do you hear?
She's instead of like colorblind, she's
sound blind?
Yeah,
Name
sound
blind.
blind. Yeah.
you're the embodiment of I'm terrible with names but great with faces.
Yeah. Personified.
Oh boy, we're in for.
All right. I'll be honest. I'm feeling rather bad about myself. I really wanted to prove to Lucan that I could return this book, and it's no one's fault. It's no one's fault,
Including yours.
but it is.
It's my fault.
I shouldn't
Anything,
have.
it's my fault.
No, it's my fault.
And Victor would hear
Victor.
Little dark stains on
Yeah.
dark stain.
You're leaking.
We're
But
all in this together. Any one of us could have said not to attack, but
I should
We
have
all
gave
went
Sarah the book.
I should have looked ahead. Before
Look,
we-
there's plenty of blame to go around. At this point, there's no use crying over spilled
Magic.
clotted cream. Because
Clotted
milk
cream.
is for babies.
I mean, it's a fantasy world. You can drink milk, it's fine.
Milk
Right.
is for babies. Wise.
I'm happy to masquerade as Ezra, if we think it worth a shot. I don't want to potentially upset Lucan any more than he already is, and if he has a way of detecting, or he knows more about Ezra than we realize, it could backfire on us, right? And at the very least, it doesn't sound like whoever hired him to hire you is not going to be there, correct? So perhaps the risk is less of just showing up as we are.
Have you ever met Lucan in person?
oh yes, we've spent quite a bit of time together.
Is he amenable? Is he, or is he rough and going to be somebody we need to be careful
So he
about?
comes this the
It
day
does
of
not
my
matter.
daughter's wedding.
we'll be there
And
to help
Eve,
either way.
Eve gets kind of like a little bit flushed. Like
Eve.
he's quite
Sleeping with the boss.
No. In Eve's dreams, like
Oh, you.
no,
like him.
he's quite a lovely person. I think I feel so badly that I disappointed him, but he's quite agreeable, really.
All right.
Well then, we have nothing to fear.
Except that badger outside.
Please
Well-
don't make us fight a badger.
Now he's brought his
Are
badger
we in
friends.
agreement?
Dire badger friends.
Fire badgers, yes.
Dire badger, honey badger, dire badger.
Are we in agreement that we'll stick together at least until we figure out what's going on with Lucan?
Yes.
Maybe he can give us some more insight into the infinite
Sight.
hourglass.
The
Yes.
time
I'm hoping he
bandits.
knows. That's everyone. Put your hands in. And
I'm still brooding.
oh,
I
And
feel
then-
like this would be a
Here.
really good time
Throw
to
my
have
head.
a team
it
name.
would.
What? Time cops.
Badger beaters.
No.
No. Never.
That's like calling yourselves the Seal Clubbers. Sorry, the Baby Seal Clubbers.
Maybe soon close.
How about
badgers,
How
okay.
about
the let's see, Eve and the Misfits?
how about
no.
Aneria's
Hug and friends.
last hope?
Hug and friends.
Yeah.
I
The
like that.
trios, Vanguard. No,
Oh,
we got to come
no,
up
no,
with
no, no.
something.
The Avengers.
We'll work on it.
Okay. Well, for now we just say 1, 2, 3.
Not until we've avenged
Huzzah.
ourselves.
This is very anti.
Evil's demise. I'll take whatever you guys say. That's fine.
Okay. And then you put your hands, and then someone puts their other hand on top, and then you put the other hand on top.
All right.
Don't team.
Team.
Two friends.
Oh, 2 friends. That was a little more poetic.
Good job, Bolt.
Bolt, you did something right.
You're pretty human.
Gee, thanks. No other time, though.
We're all casting shade now.
All right. 2
Bell's watch.
Bell's Watch.
Perfect. So you guys step out of the cave. Hug is sleepily, blearily wiping his eyes. He goes, "Where are we going?"
Well, my friend, I'm afraid we have to leave you here.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Perhaps we can be back.
okay.
To get your house
In
back.
5 days, maybe?
We need someone to stay in the area to keep an eye on the time people. The bad people who captured you.
Oh.
When we come back, we'll need you to report on all of their doings.
I'll let you know.
How good are you at defending yourself?
And he kind of like rolls his shoulders a little bit and then looks over at a boulder and like hits it with his hand and like cracks in two. And then he goes, "Hug the best."
Do you need additional weaponry? I have this chakram. It's too big and unwieldy for me.
So he'll take a look at it and he'll kind of like weird disky thing. Like he's enamored with it completely, and he goes, "I can have."
If yes,
Awesome.
I have one more gift for you. For good luck. And I'm going to pull out the elemental owl feather from Embarrass.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And does he have any hair or anything?
No, he is completely bald. Well, he has chest hair.
I'm going to put
Green
it in
in
his
there.
chest hair, just like you would put it in your...
Eve has hers in her hair. Look, we're twins. We're matching.
That's pretty.
Yes.
Don't lose it. It's very important.
Of course.
Don't let that badger get it either.
and if you see any,
You don't have to worry about the badger. He kind of wipes out.
Oh boy.
I just gotta...
And then the badger scurries out from behind him and just runs off. Hey, we're friends now.
Oh, okay. Was that you, like, you were making out with him or something?
That's wrong.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Ogre culture say that's wrong.
Okay, all right.
This
Weird.
is such a weird
civilized.
session. Oh boy.
do me a favor. If you see any of the guys with the hourglass on their chest, cut them in half, smash them, do whatever you do.
Will do. I won't let you down. You 5.
Good counting.
Thank you.
Fated.
The ogre's toes.
No, I don't like it. I really want a name for the thing.
Right, yes. Maybe if we could put it in a poll somewhere.
Watchers in the willows.
Get some.
No. I'm not letting your commenters...
Party McParty face.
Yeah, not happening.
No, I'm okay with that one. Keep an eye out.
Will do. Good luck. Good
You
luck.
too.
Good luck.
Send your
Yes.
badger friend to find us if...
I reach up and, since he's bigger than me, pat him on the shoulder.
And he pats you back on the head.
If you run into trouble.
Is the nest okay?
Oh, yeah. He's very careful. Yeah, like, very careful with that.
He pulls away and there's like eggs.
No!
Kill the babies.
No! Callisto!
Bad episode.
Curse episode. Yep. Okay. So you leave Hug
Onward.
there to guard, chakram in hand, new badger companion, elemental owl feather.
Classing a druid or ranger. For sure.
He's definitely like, he just got his level 1, right? We'll see what happens with
Glad
Hug
we could
later,
help.
I'm sure. But it's not too long. It's about like 30 minutes to get back on the road, and you guys continue heading up. This section of the road appears much better patrolled than the last section. There's a lot more Knights of Greenwood kind of on patrol. They don't even give you guys a second glance after the first few, like where you guys kind of like worry that you may need to like go hide in a ditch or get a little tense. You realize that whatever kind of flurry that the Arcanum got into last night is mostly died down. Every now and then you do see an airship pass overhead that looks like it's like an Arcanum specific airship. You can tell from kind of the glimmering underplating that the airships have. It's just a small skiff, but it doesn't look like it's anything more than just being on a little bit more high alert, because obviously the town got attacked last night. A building was burned down. There's some weird creature that, or, construct thing that was left in the middle of the town, and some people ran off. So it's expected. But
just dump the evidence on him.
You guys continue traveling normally, and you don't encounter any issues.
I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, you just left him red-handed with the murder weapon.
Whoopsies.
That's okay. He's an ogre. They're not going to want to mess with him.
Well, I was just figuring with my strength, I probably don't need more weight to carry around.
Good one, Victor. You should sing a song along the way. Anyone know around?
What is that the name of the song? The song is called The Round. Right.
She was saying like a round, like so one person starts singing and the next one and the next one. Yes, this song is actually called Around. Anyone know it?
I do, but it's a little vulgar.
Oh.
It talks about round.
That's
Bosom.
the
Make
dwarf
the
version
world go
is
round.
very different.
It's like Sir Mix-a-Lot's.
Yes.
I like big butts.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Singing more Queen.
it's the Aneria version.
So you guys are going to continue traveling. What are we like for rations? I know I asked this.
5 rations.
Assuming that
I'm good. Because
all our
we
stuff
got
back.
we got replenished at what's her name's.
Oh, I thought of a name for
You
our
didn't
group.
get replenished at Norse.
No, no, no.
You didn't have time to buy
I have
supplies.
5 days of rations.
I had
In that case,
10 days.
10 days. I think you did.
I have
Like
10
you
as
were
well.
able to take some supplies if you wanted to from the cache that was in Hug's former home.
okay.
So you can actually have 10 days as well if you like. Which means you can pretty much avoid villages and just continue on. Find a nice place to camp each night. Ezra seems to be showing a lot more initiative than he has in the past with like finding the perfect camping site, finding like a good hearty meal to supplement your rations, that sort of thing. It's very interesting.
Just like he always has.
Yeah, just like he always said. Well, actually, so that's one thing that is interesting. Is before this, like he was there, but he really didn't worry about the camping stuff. You're not really sure what he did before that, but he did something. Like you have memories of fighting with him, and you have memories of traveling with him, but those memories are all kind of just like, yeah, we traveled with him, like, and it's that same kind of muddling that you might get if you're thinking about like the logistics of Aneria too hard, almost. Sort of a similar vein to that. But it's one of those things where it's just like after a few minutes you just go back to being like, yeah, that's Ezra,
That's just the way it is.
Ezra, you're so good at taking care of us.
Wait, that implies a correlation between those two things. Sorry, I don't want to imply a correlation between those two things.
Okay.
And get the comments riled up about that because that's not what that is. But
Don't
I'm just
get
saying
riled up.
that's-
Get riled
yeah, it's a
up
similar
about
vibe.
the rubbing.
Yeah.
You saying to
Don't get riled up about the rope.
No, never. I'm so sorry.
We're all children.
Hey, Preston, I need to commission you for some artwork. We'll talk later.
Colby's got a new friend for that.
I don't think he'll take
Don't make
commissions
him do
For
that.
rubbings.
Yes, no.
For the right amount.
So I don't.
That's like 90% of independent artists. Never mind. So one other thing that we should cover is you guys get to observe Ezra as he does his daily routine, his morning training.
Oh, yeah.
What is that like for this Tushin archer master in training?
So-
You're probably I'd say right now you're probably about adept or initiate level.
Okay.
Take me a second. My brain's
So-
still not quite awake.
Awake at the earliest sign of sun, or maybe even just before the sun comes up. Buffing out any scratches in the gear, making sure all my bolts and things are fastened and tight and that the armor's in tip-top shape. checking over my arrows, making sure there's no cracks in the wood, going over my bow, making sure it's strung up tight. That's probably like the first hour, and then an hour of just like range, just shooting a tree or a target or something that I have with me at the time. Just practicing my aim, making sure it's good, and then probably like another half an hour of just like meditation, just reflecting on things that have come, things that have happened, things that are going to happen. And that's hopefully before everybody's awake, except maybe you're awake doing the same thing.
If I hear, it'll be like one of those ones where, like, if I sleep in at all and I start hearing him be like, shing, shing, I'm like, get out, and like, shing, shing.
Yeah,
And like, he's over there, he's like shooting his bow at something, and then soon later you hear my dagger hit another target somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sleep.
You vaguely remember in your mind something about Lucan saying that you should practice your blade every day.
I guess I'll get up and practice with you.
Well, Eve, I've, in my meditation this morning, had a thought. What if we were to call ourselves the Destiny's Children? Or something.
Not Destiny's child, right?
Perhaps.
Well, there's more than one of
Perhaps
us.
not. Yeah. I don't know.
Destiny's
Just throwing
children,
some
I like
ideas
it.
around.
Fate's
Yes,
children.
I like these ideas.
Yes.
I mean,
Child
of course,
fate.
it's for the group to decide.
Right.
Well, what?
Child of fate. Fate's child.
I like that.
I think child implies weakness. Perhaps I'm wrong.
The consenting adults.
For rubbing. Anyways.
Carf? Wait, no. Caffrey. Yeah, Caffrey. The consenting adults for rubbing. Caffrey.
We are not that.
Anyways, back to archery.
Practicing my longsword.
And I assume that the Vanguard does something similar, but if it's more just about like, yeah, whatever. If practicing with Draggy is as simple as just like changing.
Right. I mean, how do you say? As a I think as a charisma-based warrior, you know, people there's all the memes about like the wizard who's like, I learned my magic by like years of study and like da 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 da, and then you've got the sorcerer who's like, I learned my magic by being fabulous or whatever. Like, that's kind of I think
I insulted a goblin and he died.
I think that's like Sari's approach. It's like between like all of her years of training as a Vanguard, and this sort of like innate connection that she has with Craggy, she feels fairly like I'm good.
Craggy's anxious.
She doesn't discipline herself a lot, if that makes sense. I think.
I'm gonna put, if I can, a drawing of Thulian Crawl's face on the target that I'm shooting.
Okay.
And practice shooting him in the head. A lot.
I guess give me a performance check. I want to see how good Ezra is at art.
Oh, yeah. How about a 19 minus 118? Please say dirty 20. Please say dirty 20. Almost.
So I will say that we'll define this as Ezra. You are actually, pretty good at art. You seem to have a very steady hand with, from years of practice with archery
And calligraphy.
and calligraphy.
That's why they call it
calligraphy.
archery.
Just calligraphy.
You know, Ezra, I had an idea. I wanted to try. Do you think I could shoot an arrow with my daggers attached?
Yes.
Let's try it.
What happens to the daggers?
I'll shoot it 120 feet. Can you pull from that distance?
I'm afraid I don't have my laptop. I think it's...
I believe
say
it
it's
has to be
100 feet.
within 60
Okay.
feet.
I'll shoot
like
it
that,
60 feet and see what happens.
So the attack would be made with disadvantage.
Arrow's like... Wah, 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 wah.
And what
Way off
is...
balance?
Archer's Paradox is like going all...
Oh. Well, how about a... where's my tits? How about a 17?
So you're a good enough weapon master, or weapon initiate, adept, that it hits the target. Definitely not where you intended to hit it.
Right.
But it does, it's very unwieldy. Doable.
Did the daggers just fall to the ground?
How did you secure the daggers?
I would have just tied them to, the like where you knock the arrow, basically.
Yeah.
And so it's probably a little back heavy, so it probably went high.
Mhm.
Okay.
But if you pull it, it's probably going to pull my arrow too, unless that's wedged in. Then
Yeah.
it's like out of luck, I
That,
guess.
that's exactly what would happen. You go to like retrieve one of the daggers and it pulls the whole cluster and kind of like sends it spiraling.
And a
and
bumbling.
everything. Yep.
Oh, here's your arrow.
You and your improvised weapon.
Just wanted to see what
I'm
happened.
gonna get a magic broom. I'm gonna tie a spear to it.
Hey, that's a tactical weapon right there.
That is a cavalier.
By the way, we didn't ask what is Bolt's like morning routine. Does he do much training or is it just tinkering?
It's mostly just kind of tinkering or sort of a meditation, which doesn't look much different from a Sentry's Rest, right? But a lot of it's just him basically replaying maybe the day's events before, or going over like a new schematic in his head, trying to figure out something new that he's trying to create or that they're trying to create and put together. So.
Yeah.
And I forgot one thing that Victor did want to do is like whenever Ezra and Victor are training, or if there's any time, he'd probably be asking him about Tushen and like his understanding of it and stuff, because at least when they talk about the paragons of the 8 rings, at one point they were Tushen and then they were dishonored, or like they were viewed as dishonored, and then that's why they started their own little troop.
Yeah.
And then are so like hell-bent on preserving honor.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
trying to understand his, I guess, point of view and like why he would choose that verse instead of what I view as more honorable, or what Victor views as more honorable.
So does Victor think that the 8 rings left because it was more honorable to leave?
And that's what Victor's trying to piece together, because it's one of those ones where I don't think that there's not really that much known about outside of the Pansophical Reserve. There's like not a lot of people that actually know the actual history. It's just myths and whatever else that people say.
Do you have the tenets of Tushen, by the way?
I'll pull that up.
And how is that spelled?
It's TU''SHEN. Because I have to have an apostrophe at least somewhere.
It is fantasy after all.
It is fantasy.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
Okay. And then a couple other points of metagame order here. Are you changing out any spell slots? Or spells that you have prepared?
No.
You're going to keep everything the same?
Okay.
Just because Ezra has switched away from being a spellcaster, so I was just curious.
I still
if
have,
it changed.
the one thing I did pick up was Identify, but I've had that for a couple levels, and I can do that as a ritual, and that's why I grabbed that, in case we needed it.
Sweet.
And then, is there anything else? I know, Ezra, you had that wand.
Yeah, I'd probably just like look through my pack and be like, I must have forgotten to give this to you at some point.
Oh.
I swear you had told me that it did something with transporting people, but I can't remember that well.
Just a wave of my magic wand.
And it was the Wand of Fairy
Mischief.
Yeah,
you
should-
had that as a custom item, right?
Yeah, you should be able to find it.
You should be able to find it.
If you have homebrew turned on, it should show up for you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is all over the course of several days. Nothing really exciting happens. Again, you're out of this kind of dangerous area that seems to be between Six Hills and Willow Creek Hollow. The most dangerous thing that you encounter is a bear caught in a bear trap. And I just wanted to what would you guys do in that situation? Do you guys just leave it be? Do you guys...
Eve would speak with animals and
Okay.
talk to it.
Okay. Yeah. So you go ahead and speak with animals, and what do you ask?
I would ask it if we could help it.
Does she talk in bear speak, or does it just understand her? So say,
Well, when we did this last time, you actually talked in owl speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you definitely you walk up and you feel the trio kind of flow through you as you walk up to this grizzly bear, and it's kind of just eyeing you warily, and then you basically start belting out grunts. Everybody else can hear, and it comes out to the bear and what it can speak, and it says,
Now we know why Lucan likes her.
bear speak. And the bear goes, I could use help, yes. And of course, the rest of you are just seeing like two people roar at each other, a bear and Eve roar at each other.
She's pretty intense when she's.
Don't cross me, Victor.
Bear says a bear.
That sounded menacing.
You know when grizzlies like do that huge, like the spit comes out and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and it definitely like holds up one large foot, and you can see the trap. You can see the blood kind of oozing around it a little bit and everything.
Eve would say, all I ask is that you not harm me or my companions while we try to help you.
I will try not to, but it hurts.
Okay.
Is it safe? I can try and disarm the trap.
And even though it's just
Your Princess Bright on mine.
Yeah, apparently.
Yes. He says that he will try his hardest not to hurt us, and he would love our help in freeing him.
We didn't understand any of that. You're still growling and gruffling.
Oh my goodness.
It was common in my head.
So sorry. I start to dream in animal speak, and now it's just happening all the time.
Speaking Spanish.
Yes. We can help him. He would like our assistance, and promises to try not to hurt us. I don't know.
Well, one of us is really good at disarming traps.
I could give it a shot.
One
if,
of us is also not made out of flesh that's easily scratched. So
I like his idea more.
I will.
Sorry.
Is your fridge open or something?
No.
It's like a fridge alarm.
Is that beeping?
Somebody's car is alarming out there, and I don't know if that's ours.
Oh, it's very alarming. There's a trapped bear.
Over here, over here.
I will walk up to the bear and two hands in the trap and just wrench it open.
So you're going brute force brute.
Yep.
Okay.
There's, I mean, it's slow. Like it's it's the whole rip the Band-Aid off type of thing. If I keep going slow, he's gonna constantly be injured. But I'm just
Tell you, drop and it clamps back down on him, and then he eats you.
I mean, not very tasty.
Eve will actually, while Bolt is approaching the bear, she will go and stand, like, with the bear and hold it.
Okay.
In a gently...
Yeah. Go ahead and give me an animal handling check.
Put it in a bear hug.
Is this where we get a trinket?
Minus inspiration.
Why did I laugh at that? I feel very good now.
Not very good. A 10.
A 10? And then give me a strength check.
Strength or athletics?
Athletics.
Ooh. 7.
This is going very awry.
Maybe you don't
So,
want
you try and assuage his fears a little bit. It's like it's gonna hurt. I know it's gonna hurt,
But I will heal you after it's off.
but it's gonna hurt right away. And lets out a roar as Bolt.
I'm like,
he can't
3,
quite,
2.
yeah. And we'll go ahead and just. I'm just gonna make an attack roll
With
disadvantage
how
against each of
strong
you.
she has been in the past, can she just like muscle him to the ground and like stop it now?
I mean, it's a
She tried to
bear.
soothe instead. So.
Just put his
That's
face in
a
the dirt.
16
Bad
to
bear.
hit Eve.
That is a miss.
And then a 17 to hit Bolt. Okay. So you guys manage to like wrench it and get out of the way as it thrashes a little bit, and then it calms down. It's like, I'm sorry.
Very polite.
I don't know what came over me.
You must be very embarrassed. But I would be embarrassed. Oh dear. Preston coming in clutch with the dad jokes.
We're sorry.
Someone's got to say it. May I please heal your wounds?
I would appreciate it. Yes.
So she will lay her hands on him and take like a piece of cloth and wrap it around his sad little leg.
Sure. Are you gonna? All right. You're applying magical healing as well.
Yes.
Okay. And he kind of feels that power wash through him, and he goes, "Oh, you're one of theirs.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I will be sure to provide consideration in the future." And then he starts lumbering off towards Bleakwood Forest, actually, which is you can see that on one horizon. Basically, you've got the giant trees of Bleakwood Forest, which are very your standard kind of oak and pine trees,
coniferous trees.
coniferous trees. Your great cedars and redwoods, and then on the other side, of course, you've got the Emerald Wilds, which is jungle trees and everything. And he just starts lumbering off towards there, and Mr. Bear will remember that.
Mr. Bear.
Yep.
What a
I
cutie.
want to break the trap.
Break the trap. Okay.
So that
Wait.
it can be-
We can bring it with us. I can use it.
All right. I was just going to break it and leave it here for.
Is it, how big is it? Like, I mean, a bear trap, is it like a grizzly bear trap or is it a bear
it's
trap?
a bear trap. Like, it's
Okay.
the item bear trap in
Bear trap, okay.
the equipment.
If it's still not broken, we can maybe use it sometime.
I toss it to you.
I will.
Jaws open.
I'll just.
I set it and then throw it at you. Just-
That's the start of a really cool construct, Scott. If you wanted to put bear trap jaws, just saying.
Victor rolls a 9 to catch that with a strength of -1.
Victor is able to dodge out of the way and grab it by the chain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Too bad, yeah. Okay. So add a bear trap to your inventory
Perfect.
and continue on your way. Actually, everybody give me a perception check.
Come on.
Bad. 4.
Really bad.
Ezra, would you like this more than you're the hunter?
8.
3.
What is it? Perception, you said?
Victor would be rolling at disadvantage for this.
Yeah. No. I rolled a 5. So it's
8.
Yeah. You guys are. You see a bear walking away towards Bleakwood Forest. Sounds good.
Okay.
Good. Continuing on your way, another 5 days of travel. If you want, you can give me a survival check. Two of you who are proficient want to roll that to see if you can supplement your rations at all and save you some moolah.
I am good.
8 again. Curse you, dice.
Not too much game around here. You're feeling a little weary about hunting
Yeah.
anything after saving a predator. To save a predator.
Maybe this area is a bit overhunted, or maybe I just feel weird about saving a bear and then killing a bear later. It's like take a penny, leave a penny. Not for bears.
Take a bear, leave a bear.
I don't know what a penny is, but
Take a silver, leave a silver. Take a copper, leave a copper. I'm just one bear short. If I only... Oh! They have one of those things.
Take a bear.
Those dishes.
Take a copper.
The grubby,
take $1.
nasty,
Yeah.
with and it's written in really bad handwriting on a little slip of paper. Yeah, we got it.
So 10 days pass. 10 days of rations gone.
Okay.
And you guys get your first look as you come around kind of this little hillock at Belle's Watch. Now, Belle's Watch was the first Terrebonne sub-town that developed. Originally, it was just known as Belle's Keep because of the large kind of tower spire keep that kind of guarded this major crossroad between Bleakwood Forest and the rest of the Long Road, as well as Terrebonne. So it's kind of at this little tri-corner thing. Yeah, 3. Anyway. And Terrebonne really hadn't developed too much of a style at the point that Belle's Keep was developed. So it's very much a squat, standard fantasy tower, stone parapets, that sort of thing. And the town around it is sort of this weird homogenization of European architecture for outside of the game. So thatched roofs, kind of your standard Tudor, medieval town style.
Yeah.
Like you can see probably behind me. But there's half of it that is also dedicated to the more modern Eastern style, again, not a game, of Terrebonne, which are these kind of squat looking houses, dojo style. They have the paper windows on them, that sort of thing. Very early Japanese imperial aesthetic to them. So it's this weird half and half homogenization of it. And as you guys come around the corner and start approaching, you see a town on high alert. There are guards, normal Terabon guards, as well as a few Arcanum soldiers kind of running about the place. In the distance, you can hear shouting and the vague sounds of battle going on the other side of the watchtower. Or not the watchtower, but the town itself, Belle's Watch itself. And as you approach, a couple guards notice you, and one of them comes running up to you, and she's got kind of that standard. It actually looks very similar to Ezra's kind of samurai-esque armor. It's got the kind of the steel plates and the kind of that slat format. Mm-hmm. And she's got a samurai sword in her, not in her hand, but like strapped to her side. And she says, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yes. You 5 need to come with me immediately.
Why is that?
Because I need to get you off the streets before anything bad happens. Come with me. And she starts heading off.
What is going on?
And she doesn't answer. She just keeps on traveling. So you guys can go through. You can continue
we do,
insight?
Yeah.
Would you like to insight her? Scrutinize?
That was bad.
I'm just like, what are the sounds of fighting over there? What's going on?
Haven't you guys noticed? The jungle's on the move. And now you all look up, and you've been seeing, out of the corner of your eye, you've been seeing the Emerald Wilds kind of appear to be getting closer. You just thought you were getting closer to it. But you can see now that it is, like, covering, you can see the jungle trees in the distance that block where the normal road would be. That's the perception check that you all missed. Not seeing it on your way in. But it appears that, for some reason, the Emerald Wild has decided to block the road.
Fascinating.
Is there anything we can do to help?
And she's still walking away at this point, but that's the last thing that she shouts.
Hurry and
Let's follow
Yeah,
her.
I'll follow after her.
She says, maybe, I don't know, I've got to get you where you need to go first, and then you can decide what you want to do after that. I have my orders.
I've always wanted to see what's inside that forest.
Do you have some experience with the Emerald Wild?
I have camped on the outskirts with Lucan. I haven't been deep into... Stop! She has an innocent crush on him.
camping together.
Those were
So
very
innocent.
tense nights, too. Like,
Yes.
They were very much.
Hard to cuddle for warmth and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
I will start taking epic dice away if you want to keep pushing that.
Our like, yeah, we're like,
Again,
we're down here
in
now.
Eve's dreams.
Everybody, we're just like,
Okay. Wow. Yes,
There
there.
are some journal entries that are just not shown on the recap. sorry, I had to. Last one.
Do you guys watch Bob's Burgers at all?
Oh yeah.
It's like my favorite.
Are you Tina in this?
Yeah.
You just see his butt, and you're just like,
Oh man.
Yeah, Eve is Tina when it comes to Lucan.
Okay, Lucan is now undead.
Tina Jr.
Lucan is
Hi, Tina.
nickname Jimmy.
I know the exact accent to give him now.
Oh no! Okay, that's fine.
Cursed episode indeed.
What have I done?
Yes, they were very tense nights.
I was just looking at my book.
I know.
I didn't even do anything.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's okay if you camped intense. As most people do.
Another dad joke. He's a dog dad. Okay. They were not pleasant. I do not want to be caught in that jungle. Let's follow this
Random.
woman.
Have you ever seen it physically move like this?
No. Right.
Yeah, you haven't
No.
seen it move like that.
Never. This is very strange.
I was like, I started daydreaming for a moment there myself about Lucan, I guess. I was literally like just staring off, like, okay,
So
so
dreamy.
yeah.
It's Baywatch.
Does he have a best friend named Zeke that always
the new
argued?
one or the old one?
Whatever one tickles your fancy.
Sherry is very, like, legitimately, like, I don't know. It's the elf in her, I think. She's, like, interested in, like, what are the spirits that are powering, these trees and...
Roll
forest.
me a history check. Let's see if you ever learned anything in Taria Moon.
17.
17. You did learn a little bit about the Emerald Wilds.
Okay.
So as far as the courts go, you belong to the summer court. The spring court comes from Bleakwood. The fall court is in the Emerald Wilds, and then the winter court is in the Ungolin marshlands. As far as like you've ever learned about the other courts, they say stay away from the winter court. It's just easier that way. They're a bunch of backstabbers. Don't ever deal with them. And this is all like the knowledge that you were growing up as a kid. And then what they tell you about the fall court is they don't really treat with people or communicate in the same way. It is literally as if no life has ever evolved in there. It is all wild. It is all natural. There's no society within it. It is just a primordial fury that seems to emanate from the fall court and from the Emerald Wilds itself.
Am I getting any vibe from Craggy about it?
Craggy is a little wary of this. Like, there are powerful spirits in the Emerald Wild that match the Choir of the Crags and the trio. The trio is basically nature spirits themselves. But the ones in the Emerald Wild are just like, you don't mess with them. They're on another level. Kind of
Question: when the lady's walking away, are we walking away from or closer to the blockade?
So she immediately like diverts down the single street, and we'll say like the town is set up in like 5 rows of streets that kind of like have the big thoroughfare down the middle. The keep kind of sits in front, and there's a couple other buildings scattered about on the other end, and then
the
there's
long
just
road
5 rows.
The long road goes through the town.
Yes,
right?
and that,
they built it like
yeah,
around.
they built it in rows around, and she just takes you down the first one to the right.
The reason
So
I
you're
ask
not
is
going
if so we're not close enough to where I could interact with it at all.
No, not at this time.
Okay.
And you said the Emerald Wild had crossed the road. Are you talking on the other side of town, like at the end of town, like
Yeah.
they encroach across the town?
Yep,
Across the road?
it is basically across the road, the long road after the town,
Okay,
like maybe
gotcha.
about 100 yards from the town itself.
Okay.
But is just this massive jungle tangle that seems to have grown overnight or over the past couple days. But she takes you to the end of the street, the first street on the right, and she walks into this little, what would they call those? Because dojo implies a martial arts like studio area.
Like,
I wonder what the name of those is. We're gonna have to look that up because I'm curious.
gosh,
You're talking about like where you take
Little
your shoes
tea
off and you
house.
go.
Yeah,
in.
it's just like there's got to be a specific name
Somehow.
for like those imperial
yeah.
houses.
I don't remember.
But I don't know exactly like what they're
I should
called.
know, but I don't.
Yeah.
Remember.
But she
You're not weeb enough?
Nope. Not that.
She
weak.
opens the door and walks inside and just leaves that sliding door open so that you guys can follow in after her.
Do we have to
Apparently they're
exchange our
called
shoes
Aminka.
for slippers?
A minka?
Minka.
That's what it says. Traditional Japanese homes are called minka. M-I-N-K-A.
Minka.
Minka.
So
Minka.
she walks up to this minka and opens it up and heads inside. She doesn't take her shoes off or anything. It looks like she's in a bit of a hurry. And you can hear her call out and say, "They're here."
They were expecting us.
Lucan, perhaps?
So you guys all walk in. I'm assuming nobody stays out.
Shield on.
Shield,
Yep,
shield's
just in
up,
case. Yep.
Okay.
I'll like make sure to clean my shoes before I enter.
Okay. Yeah. Whether or not you do, that's fine. Like, it doesn't look like they're showing any consideration. And you do walk in, and you do see Lucan is in there, and he is thanking the guard. He's kind of talking quietly with her. You can see that kind of the same twinkle that Eve got in her eyes when talking about Lucan. You can see in hers, and she's like, "Oh, it's no problem at all. Just lock up the house when you're done. I have to get back to my post." And everything is like, "Oh yeah, well, thank you so much again. It's a pleasure to have such hospitality in Belle's Watch." And she kind of like, "Oh, well, it's nothing really."
An
And then,
aristocratic pimp.
then she kind of notices that you all are just kind of standing around, and she clears her throat and straightens her armor a little bit, and then just nods to you all and walks out, and closes the door behind her. And Lucan turns to you. Eve, do you want to go ahead and describe Lucan?
So Lucan is very handsome to anyone that would, you're just like, that's a handsome man.
It's a
Like
regular
Colby.
Brad Pitt.
So, Gaston,
He's a
before he
handsome man.
speaks.
Yes.
Before he speaks.
Unlike
I'm glad, thank you for not
Gaston,
saying like Colby
eggs.
before he speaks.
he
Like Colby after the speaks.
There you go. There you go.
High
he is
charisma.
he's very charismatic and just like how was I describing him to you today? Like one of those guys that you're just like everyone is naturally drawn to.
Right.
Tavern.
Like very successful, and you can't quite pinpoint like how
No.
and yeah, he has long black hair that he keeps braided in a braid down his back, and quite tall. Just like it's no wonder that Eve kind of gets like the little butterflies around him.
Sarah instantly dislikes him.
So does Ezra.
She's got a jealous streak.
Okay.
And he does have kind of a something over women. Like they just seem to fall for him. But he's very
Okay.
like into himself.
When I see him,
Mhm.
through my blind sight, is there anything out of the ordinary?
No, like he just
a person?
Yeah, he just looks like a person. So, and he turns to you and he says, "Eve, so glad you made it. No further troubles, I hope. Please, everybody, help yourselves to some of the treats here. They did
Eve
a
is
wonderful
just,
job
like-
with the spread.
Nervously eating chocolate.
Like I Love Lucy style in there.
Shoving him wherever.
And specifically, I will say that he's wearing a. They don't call them kimonos for men, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A gi?
A
Like,
gi, yeah.
well, that's more like Chinese.
Yeah.
Like,
He is
a.
I mean,
Sure,
Yeah,
like
he's
a belt,
wearing
like
one of
a
those like
kimono.
samurai ass.
Yeah, it's like a kimono.
it's like a kimono, but it's got a different name, I think.
With definitely with like that open chest kind of thing,
Again, I
showing
should
off that
know.
braid and
But I
whatnot.
don't.
And he
Oh,
does
you like open chest, do you?
Yes. Bolts.
And instead of
Flags.
hair, you
I
have,
like
he has
this
grass.
one. I like that one a
blowing
lot.
in the wind.
And then he has a pair of like just short daishos, or not a daisho because a daisho is technically a long blade and a short blade, but a couple of short weapons.
Not good. No,
Yeah,
whatever there. Yeah.
I love Japanese weapons. I don't know their names, unfortunately.
Tiny katanas.
Fireworks.
Oh, it is the 4th of July almost. Isn't
Sorry. Fireworks.
Yeah.
Or a gunshot.
It's the American game.
It's not
Fireworks
that
are
bad of a
gunshot.
neighborhood.
This is how we keep rent low.
Lucan, everyone, this is Lucan, my employer. Lucan, this is Sarah and Victor
Just kind of
and
gives him a crusty.
Ezra.
Same.
We've heard
And Bolt.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I like how you immediately forgot that you were going to call him Ezra. And
Well, as I was
No, I
going
think
around, I'm
we
like,
decided
oh,
that we were-
shoot. We kind of talked about maybe it was pointless.
I was open either
We
way.
don't want to make it more
appropriate
upset.
that you get flustered
Yes.
and you just forget.
and he kind of steps past everybody. He gives you all like as you're being introduced, he gives you all a good stare. Even if you give him the crusty look back, he definitely gives you that kind of like, I'll win you over. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But he does step past to Ezra and he goes, so you're the one who's causing all the trouble for my employee.
I assume. Yes, that's probably me.
And he kind of circles around you and he says, I was expecting something different. His messages about you kind of describes you. Well, anyway, it's a pleasure to meet you, Ezra.
Likewise.
And so he turns around and he says, so the book is gone.
Yes. It was rather unfortunate. We ran into some trouble. We were attacked by this beetle.
A beetle. and he sits down. He sits down at the table and he starts pouring himself some tea. And he says, "Would you like some?
No, thank you.
Anyone?"
Yes, actually.
I'll take some.
Pours Bolt some tea. Pours Victor some
Poison.
tea.
It's gonna churn.
Oh yeah,
I'll drink
drinking
it.
Some good
Just
memories.
smell it. Yep.
All right, let me start over.
Please.
We were attacked by a large construct.
Not me.
No. Sent after us by the Infinite Sight. Are you familiar with them?
I have a passing knowledge, more as of late.
I will get the emblem that I took off the beetle out and place it on the table.
This is what we found on the beetle.
Now that's interesting. Do you mind?
Go ahead.
And he takes it and he kind of looks it over. Please continue.
And
Fiddling with it.
we got into a fight with this construct. It nearly killed Ezra, but we were able to defeat it. There was a fire in Willow Creek Hollow. Someone had burned down Ezra's childhood home, and we had to run. As we were running away, we stumbled upon a door of sorts in the ground, climbed down it into a tunnel to seek a reprieve, and there happened to be this gang, the Infinite Sight, there waiting for us.
So you just happened to stumble upon their hideout when trying to run from them.
Well,
I thought a log myself.
in hindsight, something probably led us there, or... What do you think, Lucan?
We were
He's
being
gonna go ahead
chased.
and-
We needed somewhere to escape to. It was perhaps overly convenient, but it was out of the way and out of sight. We had no reason to suspect that it belonged to those that we were running from.
I assumed it was a farmer having a place to store something.
A shelter of some sorts.
Exactly.
And most importantly, that we kept the book out of the Arcanum's hands.
But they overpowered us. The room that we went into was covered in these magical runes that were...
Quite painful.
Yes. And the next thing I knew, most of us had... Well, we all were knocked unconscious, and we awoke. We were chained to a wall without our weapons, and we were able to escape, but they took the book from Ezra.
I see.
Something about trim the tree, not rip it out. Or... It's hard to remember.
There was.
Can you remember it?
Him? Thulian Kroll?
The
Yes.
phrase.
Oh. Trim.
It's not
the-
about cutting off the branch.
Yes.
It's about
that's what I told you.
shaping
Exactly.
the tree.
I see. All right. Well,
Just to clarify, we were vastly outnumbered and outgeared while we were there. They had 2 aberrations, 2 observers, along with at least a dozen men, most of which seem to be magicians or wizards.
I see. Well, it doesn't seem like too much harm was done. You're all safe. The book being lost is a terrible tragedy, of course, but nothing unrecoverable, nothing unrepairable has been done. So,
What?
No hard feelings.
Why is this book so important?
I don't ask. My employer tells.
Do you recognize this emblem?
Again, I have learned more about the Infinite Sight as of late because it had become pertinent to the task that I've been given and that we have been given.
And one other question: who is your employer?
I think that should be best explained by the employer themselves. Unfortunately, at this point, they didn't give me leeway to declassify that information, as it were.
And Eve is quite embarrassed by these questions that are being asked. Like, oh my gosh, my friends are so embarrassing.
And I do an insight check on him.
Sure.
I want to just see it, like the way that he's talking. If there's any if I feel like there's any tells under it.
Sure.
That's a 6. I don't know what this is, an insight, right?
Yep.
6. So that's a 10 total.
He's cool as a cucumber, baby. And he says, we have a little bit of good news that came out of all of this. Ezra, I'm going to have a member of the Arcanum come by in a few hours here. They're going to ask you some general questions, and the whole matter with you and your father is going to be dropped.
Convenient.
How is that even possible? The crimes are punishable by death.
Well, first, the crimes are punishable by a life sentence in the beacon, so death was not an option there.
Well,
The Arcanum is
good as dead.
But given that you have been keeping the book out of the hands of a band of ruffians known as the Infinite Sight, I think that a little leeway and a little help from friends can guide the Arcanum into seeing things a bit differently.
I don't know what's worse, the book in the hands of Infinite Sight or the Arcanum. Both are
Ideally, we
lustful
want them
for
not
power.
in the hands of either. But
you
for now, the book is in here, so we can clear your name.
And what about Trevin?
Trevin's release is being negotiated. Part of the stipulation is that the Arcanum interviews you to make sure that there was nothing untoward. You weren't trying to learn the secrets of the book. You weren't distributing that knowledge to anyone, that sort of thing. Just let them know that you were just trying to keep it away from the Infinite Sight, and that's all. And it should get you and your father in the clear.
All right. If that's what it takes, I will do it.
Now, does he have to be interviewed alone, or can he have some of us around as well?
That's up to the Arcanum, not me. Yeah. Typically, they like to do interviews one-on-one.
Well, if I die, you know who to kill to avenge me.
Ezra didn't kill.
All of the Arcana?
All right.
Thank you, Lucan, for making those arrangements.
Of course, and you should give special thanks to my employer when we meet. That is still the plan, Ezra, if you are amenable to it. The employer is still eager to meet you, specifically, and then we can discuss next steps for recovering the book as well. Now, if you've noticed, there's other things happening right now that kind of hamper the plans a little bit.
Yes.
Unfortunately, about 2 days after I arrived, the forest that is known as the Emerald Wilds blocked off the road completely, and they are trying to siege Belle's Watch. They have been for 2 days now.
They, as in the jungle itself?
The jungle
or-
itself, the beings within the jungle that have been plaguing Terrebonne for years now.
Any idea as to their motives?
Retaliation, most likely, for the perceived slights that Terrebonne did in claiming its territories. It's all very political. I don't really get into that portion.
How can trees be political?
Here's a question, actually.
Sure.
I have the so my background was a courtier, right?
Not a courtesan?
No, not a courtesan. I'm wondering if that might come into play at all here. So I just have this feature, court functionary, where your knowledge of how bureaucracies function lets you gain access to the records and inner workings of any noble court or government you encounter. You know who the movers and shakers are, whom to go to for the favors you seek, and what the current intrigues of interest in the group are. I'm wondering if I might be able to use that somehow in figuring out, I don't know, like the fall court or the movers and shakers of the Emerald Wild.
That's a very good question. I suppose what I would want to do, because you can't really, there's not really any records as far as the fall court goes, but there aren't really many records as far as the spring court goes. I would say speaking with the denizens of the Emerald Wilds would get you that knowledge of who these movers and shakers are, literal movers in this case. But right now you would know the major player is probably in the town if you spend a little bit talking about it. It's not an automatic, like, I get to the town and I have all the information. Yeah, it's just kind of within a couple hours you can pretty much pick up on the social cues and the
Smooths
hierarchy.
your way
Yeah.
through
Yep.
the hierarchy.
Other question: when we were all having heart to heart, would there ever have come with the big book of bounties? Would that ever come up if your employer knew about your bounty for Eve's, or would it be like,
As far as Eve knows, he knows nothing about.
Okay.
She's never shared with him where she came from.
okay, got it.
He has never asked.
So that is an avenue that you could.
Okay.
You might be able to go down. But you would have to get into the fall court, or
Yeah.
at least into the wilds to
Right.
begin speaking with. And again, the wilds isn't just like animals that you have to speak with animals on. There are other things in the wilds. There's elementals, there's elves, there's dryads, there's all manner of creature within the Emerald Wilds that might have information for you. But again, take all of that with the fact that the Emerald Wilds is very much a primordial land. It is very much this early, like, savage almost land. Like, we don't like to use the word savage as much, but it's savage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything that we can do to help clear the court? I don't suppose to help clear the forest.
Well,
I don't suppose there are any representatives of the Fall Court that have made themselves known.
unfortunately, no demands have been forthcoming. They just seem to be wanting to destroy Belle's watch one piece at a time. We've already lost a few trading posts on the northern outskirts where they've been able to push forward. We've been able to push them back because there were luckily some extra mercenaries and reinforcements. But until we can get that road cleared, I'm afraid the only option is to wait for a passing airship and hope that it can pass over the jungle, which in itself is a dangerous prospect.
But what are the current bounties out on? Is there any you bring back so many heads of XYZ?
I'm not really a bounty hunter. I don't know the specifics on what the guards here are offering. I just know that they are offering good, honest work.
Let's clear the road.
I want to check the book and see if there's anything in there about
Okay.
the...
Go ahead and no, it's not even. It just tells you. There's no specific bounty for like the head of this person or anything like that. It is just a
like 3 claws of drakes and you'll get undergold, nothing like that.
yeah. The big book of bounties doesn't tell you like specific
It's not fetch quests.
It's not fetch quests.
Big Book of Bounties.
Yeah.
Not the
It's basically if there is a named person that is
forlorn
wanted,
fetch quests.
they will be
That's
found
what it'll be in
there.
there. Okay.
And Luke turns to you and he says, "Feel free to use this building as much as you'd like. The guards have been generous enough to donate it, considering the previous occupants are no longer at this mortal coil. And we can move as soon as the long road is clear again."
Certainly, I think we might be able to help with that.
I would hope so. I hope that you have grown only more capable.
She's plenty capable.
Good. Excellent. And he says, "If you'd excuse me, I have an appointment with a few people. The Arcanum should be here shortly to discuss things with you, Ezra. And of course, you can go talk to the guard anytime you wish. They are manning their headquarters out from the keep itself."
Thank you, Lucan. Thank you so much for everything. We will not disappoint you. Eve is very, very much like a different person around him.
And he gives you that smile that is almost like it's a "I hope not" smile, but he doesn't say anything. He just kind of walks out and leaves you there alone for a bit. So.
Not a fan.
Do we know how long we have before the Arcanum?
You guys can like sit around for about an hour or so,
Okay.
if you want. But the Arcanum does arrive, 15-20 minutes in that hour.
Okay.
Is there food in this house?
Yeah,
I assume?
there's a whole table. There's a charcuterie board.
Oh.
I'm gonna like
Count
take
on that
like
thing.
a bandana or something and like put some food in like knapsack style.
Yeah.
some chocolates.
Tie some rations together.
Eve has been
I love it.
stress eating.
Yeah. Only had jerky on the road for the last 10 days.
And then
Get some berries to clean
there, there's this little wooden chime, wooden chime, I guess, that that hangs on the outside of these doors, and you can hear the donk, 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 donk as somebody rings it. Basically rings the doorbell. As it were.
I will go open it.
Yeah.
And you can see that there's an Arcanum guard standing there, and
I go, yes.
it is a halfling, so they're very and they're like, "Oh,
You rang.
are you Ezra?"
No, I am not.
Okay, obviously.
Are you here for him?
Yes, I'm here to speak with him.
Ezra? Can I let him in?
Yeah.
Come on inside.
Hello,
Steps in.
just a car.
No, maybe someday. You can call me just. Let's see.
Just a car.
Special agent.
Just a car. Just a car.
Just Karen.
What would they? What would they normally want to be called?
Spectre?
They're just called.
Spectres?
Guards.
Officer Krupke.
Officer. That's.
Deputy?
Sorry, what was that last name?
Officer Krupke. That's from West Side Story. Please
Officer
tell me you've told me. Please tell me you've seen that.
No, I haven't. I am Officer Clover of the Arcanum.
Pleased to meet you, Officer Clover.
Sorry.
Odd day to be meeting with the Arcanum, considering.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but some things take precedence, and getting a matter resolved and justice served is always what we're here for. So, is there a place that we can discuss things?
Yeah. We'll look around. Is there like a
Oh, yeah.
sliding
There's like a side room. Yeah, there's a couple
with
sliding
really thin
panels.
paper walls so you
Yep.
guys can still hear
We all
everything
go
just
up,
in case?
lean up against it, then at some point someone pushes through the paper.
Sorry.
But just a little bit.
Yeah, just peel it back up. So the guard takes you into the next room. You guys seal up the door, or just slide the door in place. He has a seat. You have a seat across from him. He says, "So I understand. Oh, and apologies. I do have to record this for the sake of the Arcanum. Is that okay?"
Of course.
And he sets out a little crystal and he taps a few things on it. You can see it light up for the recording. And he says, "Could you please state your name for the record?"
Ezra. Clanless. No last name.
All right, Ezra. Can you go ahead and describe the situation that you found yourself in with the journal, just in full as you remember it?
Yes.
And if you'd like, we can go ahead and hand wave that.
Yeah,
Everybody,
just tell the story.
you hand him the first 9 sessions of Tales of Aneria.
At least the recaps. The
Mhm.
recap letters.
Just the recaps, yeah.
Yep, just read the recaps. He goes through the whole story. He asks a few.
I actually am curious. Do you talk about Trevin giving you the book and telling you to hide it?
Yeah, I don't leave any detail out. Just as truthful and honest as I can be, because that seems probably the best route right now.
After it's done, the Clover says, when your father handed you the book, did he specifically know that it was the Infinite Sight that you were on the run from?
He didn't say. He just told me to run and trust no one.
Okay.
Of course, until I met Bolt, which I had no choice but to trust Bolt, because, I mean, look at Bolt. He's big.
Bolt
I
is
needed
the construct,
Yes.
correct?
I needed some protection on the road, although I probably could have been fine, but safety in numbers.
And do you have any idea where this bolt was created?
Trash heap in Manaport or something.
Okay. That's an interesting place to call your home.
Thought the same.
And what of your other companions? Were they aware of the book from the moment that you met them?
Over time, I told them, only because I felt dishonorable keeping a secret that could potentially affect their safety.
And at any time, did you feel it prudent to hand the book over to the Arcanum?
There was a Justicar in Six Hills, but we were preoccupied fighting some mud elementals, and moment didn't quite seem right. Justicar, White Hall, I believe.
Okay. And he leans forward and he goes, "That was Justicar White Hall."
Yes.
And he just looks like he's trying to repeat it just in case, to make sure that he has the name down. And he goes, "Is there anything else about the Infinite Sight that you can tell me? Just a general general features. We have the general location where they operate based on your story that we'll look into here.
Yes. I'll describe Thulian Crawl as best as I can.
Okay. I mean, you have pictures
brain.
of them.
Yeah.
You're a pretty good artist.
Yeah, I'll show what I drew on my target, although it has lots of holes in the face.
But
Mainly
just
in
one
the
in each eye.
Yeah.
So
he
doesn't mar it
leans
too
forward
much.
and he touches it, and it kind of like shimmers a little bit. All the holes like seal back up as he casts mending on it, which technically takes a minute, but we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And he says, "Do you mind if I take this back with me?"
Feel free.
Wonderful. And he rolls it up and he says, "Now, I have a few more questions here. Did you ever open the book and read through it?"
I read a couple pages of what I could understand. Most of it was beyond comprehension. There were a few writings that looked like perhaps my father just wrote in the margins, or it was mostly just journal entries, nothing about research or anything in the book.
Do you or your father have any sort of magical talent?
No. Not that I'm aware of.
Just a quick history check here. In fact, let's make it a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, 15.
15. You get this flash in your head of yourself, like at Talazam Academy, and you're researching not Tushin, but you're researching how to entangle people and kind of these mystical spells, and it flashes through your mind just for a quick moment, but then fades away. And he goes, "Okay, no magical talent. That's a good step." So let me kind of break this down for you a little bit, Ezra. Things are looking good. You've got some interesting leeway in your corner, which is nice. It seems like this was all self-defense rather than any sort of malice on your part, so that really goes in your favor. Trevin's case is being brought before the courts in the Tower of Law currently, and hopefully we will have an answer soon. We can get him back, not to his home, unfortunately, but get him back to Willow Creek Hollow without too much delay. It may take a little bit of time. We do appreciate your patience in that matter, but it seems like everything looks a bit positive at this point.
All right. Thank you.
As it stands, and he kind of stands up and untaps, or taps the crystal again, turns it off, and then he pulls out something else, and it looks like a rolled up thing. He's like, "I have your official bounty contract right here," and he just turns it into flame. If anybody goes through the Book of Bounties, or if you're looking through the Book of Bounties at all, Ezra's picture gets like dissolved and melted away into nothingness. And he says, the bounty on you has been cleared, no reward or anything, and the Arcanum thanks you for your candor and hopes that we can work with you in the future.
All right. I appreciate it.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell me?
When it comes to Thulian Crawl, best stay out of my way.
Officially, we have to say that leaving it to the Arcanum is probably for the best. We will have the resources necessary in order to handle him better than you. Unofficially, I can't really tell you what to do, and I do hope that you use all the caution and discretion necessary in your journeys.
All right. Thank you, Officer Clover.
And open up the door to see you all kind of like very nonchalantly trying not to like listen in.
Victor's still sitting there.
Victor.
Well, have a wonderful day. Be very careful out there, and if you can, I would highly suggest heading south.
If I might ask, Officer Clover, we would love to help with what's happening here. Who should we speak with about
You'll want to
offering
speak
our services?
with Mayor Bolin.
Mayor
Bolin?
Bolin.
Yep.
Okay, and where would we find him?
She will actually be
Her.
in the keep.
Oh. I can't believe that. I just assumed it was a man.
Did you just assume their gender? That's a serious offense in the Arcanum. They will be in Belle's Keep. They have been coordinating with the mercenaries that we've been able to gather there as well as the town guard. The Arcanum is strictly a keeping the peace force, so we're providing minimal support and aid where we can, mostly in the capacity of medical services or clerical services.
Well, let's go find her. I could use some exercise.
Even to shoot things right now.
So yeah, Sari's been a little pouty.
Kind of pent up.
Okay.
Eating angrily.
So the way that I described
really angrily.
Bell's
What's
Watch
the
here,
word?
we're going to do a little bit of a brief retcon.
Broody? I don't know.
I said that the long road just goes straight through. It actually goes and it curves around Bell's Keep. It almost looks like Bell's Keep landed itself right in the middle of the long road and then shaped the road around it after it was built. So, and there's definitely like an archway over that now that is almost like a checkpoint for when times are different. So Bell's Keep kind of sits in the middle of this town of Bell's Watch, and you can see guards running to and fro. From there there's this weird mixture. Some of them are very much pikemen with the proper like
Skull caps.
the skull caps or the
the
ones that are like the
Former samurai.
yeah. And then there's obviously like some, you can see Tushin warriors, you can see different Terabon
Do we
warriors.
have the cool like Sekiro
Glowering
Oh, yeah.
samurai.
Yep.
Yeah.
There are definitely some glowering masks. You actually do see a troop of heavily armored knights kind of barrel past as you're on horseback, basically. As you are moving up, they're all carrying the green shield crest, that sort of thing. And it just looks like a flurry of activity. And you also see dwarves. There are actually plenty of dwarves around here, maybe about half a dozen or so, that are all kind of sharpening shields. They have this kind of this very dirty armor. It looks like it's been hammered out and replaced, and like rehammered over and over again. It's grungy. It's not very well. I wouldn't say it's not well maintained.
It's just old.
It's very much old. Like they haven't been able to purchase new equipment, and they do have the crest for Clan
Fellow Shield.
Yep, on them. It makes a little bit of sense. They are a very mercenary-esque band. Let me see if I actually have Fallow Shield's crest on here. I believe I do, and we'll post it as well. Yeah,
Fallow Shield.
why is there a line all the way through? Oh, that's just a mark. That is the Fallow Shield crest.
Very cool.
It's different than their regular crest. It's more broken than the actual crest was for Clan. I think it was Bright Shield was their name before that. But yeah, that is the crest and colors that you see. You see a couple banners hanging around, and as you approach, one of the guards runs up and says, "Well, you're all carrying weapons. I assume you're fighters."
We're here to help.
For a price.
Right. Well, you're gonna want to talk to the captain. They're over here. They can get you set up and kind of get you settled into the siege, as it were.
Okay. I just want to sort of, in passing as we walk past, to say, "Fallow Shield boys, eh? You're a bit far from home, lads."
Sorry, second time this is gonna happen tonight.
Boys and girls.
They're mostly females, actually.
But boys is just
all six are females. Yeah.
It's like,
And they look up and they're like, "Well, there's not really much of a home left for us, is there?"
Ooh.
Well, there could be. Just keep at it. You'll get there one day.
Ooh.
And they do chuckle at that and everything. But yeah, they do. And like, as far as their like style goes, they're very much like, they have jagged shields. They have like the big like iron spike or iron blades or spikes sticking out of them. They've got these big long pikes, or they've got like wicked looking axes, that sort of thing.
It's like Mordor.
And they said, "What about you? What clan are you from?"
Well, I'm from Malagoth. Part of the Vanguard.
And they kind of like snicker at each other, saying, "So no clan."
Hey, there's nothing wrong without having a clan. Or about not having a clan. I can't speak. Flustered.
That's very weird to hear from an orc.
Yes, well, I'm a bit half and half, as you can probably tell.
Yep, a little bit too pointy in the ears, a little bit too tall in the knees, but
Right.
whatever. We'll take whatever we can get.
Yes, well, we'll show you how it's done.
See you out on the battlefield, string bean.
Oh, it's on.
You know, Seri, for the first time, I'm rooting for you.
She's not, like, Sarah is not, like, as far as she's concerned, this is just like soldier
Friendly-
banter.
friendly
man,
She's not,
absolutely,
like,
yeah.
she's taking anything personal.
Same, you can tell it's the same with Fellowship. Like they're very much like, and if there's a clan that's used to getting a good elbow jab, it is Fellowshield. So you head into this basic room in the keep. You can see that there's sort of this haphazard map. You can see that there are battle lines drawn. There's outposts that have been like removed or set down as like destroyed, that sort of thing. You can see two buildings, like the space where two buildings would have been normally has been kind of reduced to this sort of like just outline of like here's the rubble of where the buildings have been. There's a couple flags of Fellowshield that are kind of defending one of the flanks, and then there's the Knights of Greenwood that are kind of in reserve, and then they've got the General Town Guard from Belle's Watch, which I don't have a symbol for, but somebody can come up with one if they like. They can think of a cool symbol for Belle's Watch.
A tower and a crescent moon.
Okay. Yeah. Tower, crescent moon behind it.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. Somebody send that to me. I'll have to.
Someone's face with two bells for eyes.
Creepy. That sounds so terrifying.
And you can see that there's a few figures kind of standing over there. One of them is she's got kind of that formal jacket on that you would see in kind of like a London, maybe almost like a mariner's jacket. Like a captain's jacket. And she's just kind of looking over everything, asking questions about the general state. And there's a couple dwarves in there. One of them is shirtless. He's got one hand that has these kind of like runes kind of curling up his arm like a big tattoo, and this big keg on it by his side that he's just like liberally tapping and drinking out of. And he says it was a rough fight, but we were able to take that Manticore and shove it right back into the wilds. And then there's another dwarf there as well, and he goes, but not without cost. And this one is wearing the Fellowshield crest, but he's also wearing a talisman for a specific deity. Let me just...
Floral Naggin.
Erga.
Hargan. We had so many issues with making sure that was spelled right on all of our recap and everything.
Snuck in, so.
What a name.
He is it looks like the symbol... Ooh, I don't even know what that symbol is. Hang on. It is... He is a priest of Volcana. Yeah, so you can clearly tell by the symbol. And Volcana is a... her portfolio includes birth and death, as well as oaths. She's like a god of oaths, or a goddess of oaths. And he says it wasn't without cost, though. We unfortunately lost 4 more of your guards and one of our own Fellowshield scouts in the process. And the mayor nods, and she says, including the captain, unfortunately, which leaves it to me. I'm very wary about bringing the knights up early, but do you believe that this is a good time? And then she kind of looks up and sees you, and she says, "Oh, apologies. Who are these?" And then she turns to the guard, and he says, "New recruits, ma'am."
Hello, my name is Eve. We are the band of
Fellowshield
misfits.
Salvation.
The 5 stars.
We are the island of misfit toys. At your service, of course.
Well, we're glad to have any help that we need. As you can see, it's kind of it's an ongoing process, kind of a bad battle. And she looks down at the map again, and you can tell that she, like, no insight check needed. She kind of looks very lost. Like this is not what she has ever trained for in her life. So I suppose standard rates, have managed to defend the siege.
Yes.
This
Okay,
one
here,
will want to
do you
contract.
have it in writing by chance?
I mean, we haven't gotten. We have some formalized.
One moment.
Okay. Well, all right.
Here you go.
Your contract bag of holding.
Yeah, he's got.
Yep. And so she kind of looks over and she tells you the rates. Basically, it's it's 1 gold a day for guard duty, basically during the battle. And then at the completion of the battle, there's a 50 gold reward for survivors.
And there's a no exclusivity clause that says
A non-solicit, non-compete.
Yep, definitely one of like
where we are not conscripted in an army that we have to fight in after.
yeah. And she obviously like that's all acceptable to her, and she'll go ahead and be like, well, if you're all willing to join, we're willing to have the bodies. That's for sure.
Just point us where you need us.
Right. And she signs it and lets each of you sign and take care of it. And then she says, where you're needed. And she kind of glances over to her dress, which is the dwarf that she eventually addresses him. And he goes, yes, we'll find a good place for them. In the meantime, I think that's enough battle report. Gerard, are you finished? Well, I mean, I'm never finished, but I suppose. And he grabs the keg and he just kind of like places it. And you can see him like kind of like click it onto this little like container onto his back so that he can stand up with it.
Can I get a peek at the battle map?
Sure.
Maybe try and get an idea of how much trouble we're in? Or
sure. Yeah, go ahead and give me just a perception check or an investigation check, whichever one.
Okay. Let's do a 14.
14. It doesn't look to be going well. The problem with the Emerald Wilds is there's no way to really count their numbers. Right. They're just kind of this big mass, and it's more of a like they keep sending things out and seeing what sticks and what doesn't. With the way that you see the like forces have been pushed back to this next set of buildings, it's obvious that they are slowly making headway in breaching Belle's Watch entirely, but they haven't quite gotten there. I mean, Belle's Watch doesn't even have any sort of walls, and you can also see that most of the citizens of Belle's Watch have been diverted, and they are heading towards Bleakwood Forest specifically. Okay. They believe that that's the safest place rather than on the long road, which has basically the jungle to its left.
Yeah.
I want to ask, like, have there been any demands made, any emissaries from the Fall Court that have made themselves known, or is this just simply an attack?
This is your first time dealing with the Emerald Wild?
Yes.
Gerard kind of chuckles and says, I love the green ones. Unfortunately, the Emerald Wild doesn't negotiate. It's just rampant destruction. And Herdra says, well, it's not like we've done any sort of negotiating ourselves. It's just been reaction and reaction so far.
Perhaps they just haven't met a foe worthy yet.
I like that one. And he reaches behind with like a cup and comes out with like a drink for you, and he says, cheers to your recklessness. And then each take a drink.
Do you still drink with two hands?
Yes, always.
Okay.
No matter what.
Yep.
When can I take a see if I want to take out like
it's a strong good
Shadow Song and just kind of whistle it a little bit and see if I can get a view of the map as well and see if there's any like patterns in like it seems like they're protecting something, like if they're pushing forward and they're protecting like heavily in one area.
As far as the forces go,
or is it just chaos?
The problem is like they don't. It's more hit and run tactics.
Okay.
Right. They come out of the jungle that they've created basically in the road, attack something, and then retreat back into it. Okay. So there's no specific like point that you can see that they're.
So it's not like they're pushing forward and they have their emissaries or whatever in one place kind of thing.
No, yeah, it doesn't appear that way.
Okay.
Obviously this map it's just a static map. It's not going to show you too good of troop movements or anything.
It's not the Blackthorns map.
And so they leave the mayor and they're like, Mayor Bolin, she means
Black
well,
Panther.
but unfortunately she's not really bred for this. So she's asked us to pitch in since the captain of the guard died.
Well, no time like the present.
Of course. Let's get you guys to the front.
So as we're walking over there,
Where the vanguard
Bolt is-
belongs.
Bolt is going to be like, Ezra, Victor, is that right? I believe these will help you. And I open my hand, and there are 3 of the peppermints sugar bombs in them.
Nice.
One for each of you.
Nice.
What do those do again?
So
Cheers, Bolt.
they deal some damage to you when you bite
Right.
into them, but then they give you extra piercing damage on your attacks for like an hour.
I want to do the Jackie Chan.
So you're gonna eat that now?
Yeah, well, as soon as I start hearing the fighting,
Yeah.
close enough that it
so-
seems.
Yeah. So right now
Reasonable.
the fighting is sort of skirmishes. You can see that there is like a line of archers that have set up like these wooden barricades, and mostly like you watch as one of these like an elven druid. And again, these are very different elves from Taria Moon. You guys are very much like, even though you are wood elves, you're very much like armor is well put together. These are just like mud and hide and whatever they can kicked on for that kind of thing. It's more barbaric than you're anticipating from elves. And one of them runs out of the forest as you guys are approaching, and he just goes like this, and these brambles come up and form like a natural barricade that 3 archers then go behind, and they start like firing off. You can see the Fallow Shield clan, which has taken up the primary position. Even though it was showing them on the flank, that probably needs to be updated. They kind of lock shields and take a few of those hits and everything, and then just kind of clear everything off. While it's more of just like a poking war at this point. The dwarves are taking pot shots, and you can see a couple of the human guards and everything firing off from longbows or crossbows, that sort of thing.
I'm gonna bite into my peppermint.
Okay.
Peppermints.
And Eve, not to feel left out, I'm gonna crack into those jolly ooze beans.
Okay. So which one do you eat as far as those go?
Bolt's going to eat a tricky treat, but they don't really do anything. Just wanted to be in the club.
You can have one of
We're
the
all
jolly
juicing
ooze
just
beans.
before.
A tricky treat or tricky tote? Why do I have
So
a
it
tricky
is
tote
a-
written down?
I think they're called tricky trots.
So the tricky tote is the where the treats come from.
Ah.
Yeah. Let me pull them up there. There though. So we'll do the peppermints
the
first.
What that one do?
It's a mystery.
Oh.
I'm gonna find out. They're like Bernie bots. Every flavor. Like, I got the vomit flavored one.
You grow
You cause 12 damage to yourself.
Probably.
you grow an elephant trunk. You're like, what?
Yeah.
So as far as the peppermints goes, everybody who bit into a peppermints sugar bomb,
Yep.
roll me a 1d6.
Please roll low.
5.
3.
5, 3.
Please wait. D6?
Do you need dice?
You could just roll one of my dice if you want.
Preston, do you need dice?
Got dice. 6.
6?
Ouch.
Okay, that's how much damage you take. How much piercing damage.
Ouch.
Okay. And
I
then
thought it was good to have a high.
you ate an ooze bean.
6.
I'm eating a black one.
Okay.
Torrey's favorite color.
Do we do that much more in piercing then, or
So now you do 2 piercing damage additional with each attack.
just 2? Okay.
Yeah, for the next hour.
String pierce.
What's the full name of that? Do you have the full name by chance?
Freefalls.
Freefalls, that's right. F. There they are. A black one. So I'll go ahead and give it to you, just kind of like you get the intense feeling of what you have. You have resistance to acid damage and can safely eat otherwise inedible and non-poisonous organic materials. So you can eat inorganic material if you'd like. Like you feel like your stomach like hardens and everything. Yeah, like
She just
you can
goes
eat
like, grabs a bunch of dirt.
That's
and
delicious.
that is just a bonus action, and it will
There's
last you
just,
for a
a
minute. So
collection of
Okay.
yeah, it's organic material and crushed up rock,
I
right?
mean, technically raw.
Do you want one
metal
of these
is organic too,
beans?
so.
Bolts.
Sure.
I have a
What
green
color?
one.
I'll take a green one. I'll try it.
Ooh, green time.
open that too, or close that too early.
While you're at it, let's smell the rock again.
These ones do
Right before
last
battle,
for a
smelling
minute
salts.
rather than an hour.
Okay.
So if you'd want,
I'll
if
like
you
hold
want
on to it right before we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, they're only a bonus action. I'll let you do that as well, just because
Okay,
you
thanks.
had no way of knowing. Because I'm evil. You have resistance to poison damage, and advantage on ability checks to escape grapples or restraints.
Nice. That's pretty useful.
So you guys are approaching the line.
I was already resistance to poison.
The grapple might.
And I will
The grapple might be good.
cast
Considering-
Bless
Okay.
Yeah, grapples and stuff.
on Sari, Victor, and Ezra.
Okay. And so you guys are, as you're approaching the line, you feel the trio's power wash over you, and that power, like, you feel it in full force. Like, they are completely with you in this. Like, we are ready to fight. Like, what you're doing is definitely on the path of like good that you can do. And it also causes a little bit of a stir inside. You can see the forest kind of like shift, and then a couple of the branches part, and this tangled mass of wood comes lumbering out, and a tree comes marching out, and it kind of lets out this furious roar, and as it does, several centaurs with spears come charging out, and we're going to go ahead and get into combat at that point. And you can hear Gerard shout a battle cry of his own, and as you do, like, his hand clenches into a fist and he smashes it into the ground, and all of this earth just kind of forms around to create like this earthen fist for his part in the fight.
He's the guy with the tattoos all over.
Yep, he's the guy with the tattoos. And he does have an axe in his other hand as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and set up the map really quick, and then we will get into combat. Okay, so this battle is, obviously it's a bigger battle, typical kind of thing where we're going to do something a bit different. So the centaurs that you see on the battlefield, you should be seeing them now as they're charging in. The ones that are color coded, those are the official enemies for this fight. Everything else is battlefield, like the archers behind them are kind of battlefield stuff. Your side has archers and warriors as well. These just represent the ebb and flow of the battle that can determine their hazards and other things that happen during. Gerard is fighting with you, as are, I think... Yeah, the two dwarves behind Bolt will also be fighting with you as well. So they will be taking turns, but everybody else will just be acting at the top of the round to kind of determine who has the advantage in the fight at that time. What that means is dependent on what I feel like. Not necessarily advantage every round, but who knows what could happen. So we will go ahead and start, though, as we usually do, with initiative. Victor, what did you give for initiative?
24.
24. Eve.
20.
Okay. I have initiatives recorded from the last battle, and so far they are exactly the same.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, Bolt, what did you get?
17.
That's 3 for 3. Ezra,
11.
4 for 4.
You are kidding.
Mine's different.
Seredan?
18.
18, okay.
This is what we get for messing with time magic.
Ruined it!
Messed up time.
Holy crap. That was incredible. Incredible. Initiatives are locked in.
Awesome.
The battlefield is set, and we're going to go ahead and start just with a quick, easy roll here. Does somebody want to roll for the good guys? Just a straight D20.
Me.
Oops.
19.
Right into a tree. Yes! Good guy at advantage.
Okay, so you guys are actually surprisingly, like, Gerard's battle shout has taken away most of the effect, like the shock and awe value effect of this treant basically ripping the jungle open and letting these centaurs spill out into a charge. So you guys are going to have just a nice little +1 morale bonus to your attack rolls this turn.
Nice.
Really? This late?
The sound of battle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, listen to the sounds of battle have begun. So we're going to go ahead and start out with Victor, actually.
All right.
That's why I theorize gunshots.
All right.
Sorry about that.
am
Can't do anything about it.
You just want to burn down the state of Utah.
Happy Independence Day, everyone.
I mean, we're only in the middle of a heat wave. We're shooting off.
Unless you're British, then, like, sorry for your tea.
Whatever. All right.
Sorry about the tea.
So, I want to, I guess, preliminarily move forward.
Okay.
Try and have a little cover, learning from my last mistake of running in and dying. And I'm going to throw, bonus action, throw 2 of my daggers out, just kind of straight ahead. Probably just in this vicinity.
Okay.
Just kind of checking.
How far can you throw your daggers? Is it within 30 feet?
5, 10, 15. There's 30, but I can throw up to, I think it's 60 feet with disadvantage.
Okay.
With that.
So just give me like a quick d20 roll for these, just to see if you...
17.
17? Yeah, they land in the space that you want them to.
Let me make sure for a second. So I think it's 30, 60.
Well, you're not trying to hit anything.
Yeah. It's 20, 60. So 20 did not disadvantage 60 feet if I'm trying to hit something.
Yeah, so you kind of like high toss them into the air. The centaurs are still charging, and they land behind that middle centaur who appears to be like the war leader.
And I will throw my Shadow Song at the green one with disadvantage.
Okay.
So it's a 9, a 3. So that definitely misses. So Shadow Song is somewhere out here too.
Okay.
Perfect. That's the end of my turn.
Yeah,
and I'll use that for. I'll just basically use my movement to duck and that.
So that goes sailing towards this one in the middle, and she just brings around this kind of wooden shield and just smashes Shadow Song, and it kind of sticks off to the side as she goes barreling past. Eve, it is your turn next. And by the way, you guys, if you want, you can eat your ooze beans.
No. Eat my ooze bean.
Ooze.
I would assume that you guys would have identified the beans by now, so you would know what they are.
Okay. Eve will move just right in here.
Okay.
Woo! Front and center.
So Eve has been like, she didn't prove herself to Luke, and she could tell that he was disappointed, or at least that's what she thinks she could tell. And now she has a chance to prove herself, and she's like, barricades and formations be damned. She just runs straight ahead at these charging centaurs.
She does, and he's kind of in this corner, right? Is he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would
it's a 4
that
by
count
4.
as 10 feet
sorry, it's a 2 by
within
2.
me?
So technically, they're
You can even
this
move up
centaur
one
is
more.
15 feet
Yeah, you
away.
need to move up 1 more.
Well, I can't. Where did I start?
You were
That was 6 that you went for, I believe.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'll just stay there and not do anything.
Okay. If you like, you can ready an action.
For when they get in range.
Okay, I would like to ready my my Nature's Wrath, my Channel Divinity.
Okay. And that's with when. So what's the
So,
trigger that you're setting up basically here?
Spectral vines spring up and reach for a creature within 10 feet of you that you can see. The creature has to succeed on a strength or dexterity saving throw. DC 14 or be restrained.
Okay. All right. So and that's within 10 feet of you. Okay.
Correct.
So when she gets within 10 feet, we'll go ahead and trigger that. And yeah, it is actually. Oh, it is her turn next. The war leader is going to shout for like a leadership. Let's see. Yeah, she shouts kind of a charge forward. She sees that this lone like half elf woman is like trying to stand in her path, and she just barrels towards you. So she's going to hit that 10 feet mark. She's going to move up 1 square here. And what is the save that she needs to make? Sorry.
Oh no!
Strength or dexterity.
Grasping
Strength or
vines.
dexterity. And she crits. So these brambles come up, and she like leaps straight over them, and she kind of just comes up to you, like landing on the other side of them. But she actually already used her action this turn to do kind of her leadership shout. So she's like barreling down on you. She's rearing up, kind of in a menacing prospect as she's trying to avoid and dodge your vines. So
Okay.
You'll get something someday. Seredan, it's your turn.
Okay. I'm going to run up 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 to here.
Okay.
And I will, as my action, cast Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then
15.
as a bonus action, I'm actually going to use Hexblade's Curse on the leader here.
Okay.
Screen.
Sounds good.
And that's it.
All right. Bolt, that's you.
Bolt is going to go ahead and run in. 30.
Eve charges in. Seredan is immediately like right behind you, like, let's do this. The darkness pulls up, and Bolt is like, is it a resigned move in, or is it a?
No.
It is a full on charge.
I'm just going to run in and
a charge of your own.
As I'm running in, my armor emits that pulse of energy, and I get my temps for it.
Perfect.
As a bonus action. Guardian armor. And then I actually want to chain whip and try to pull them right up next to me.
Okay. The war leader.
Yep, war leader. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That is a 25.
25 will hit.
Nice.
So as I'm running, I extend the chain and I fling it out and wrap around her torso and yank her closer to me.
Okay. And then it does some damage as well.
Yep.
I believe she's still in the darkness. Is that correct?
Yes.
Or at least
Yes.
half in the darkness.
And no attack of opportunity because it wasn't. It's
Yeah, it's forced.
Just
forced
movement.
movement.
Left to space.
It's just a d6. That's 2 damage.
Worse tonight. I don't know if you've been hearing it.
I heard that one.
Yeah, there it goes again. Wow, jeez.
That's okay. Are you feeling all right?
Yes, I'm feeling fine.
So
It's crying out for help.
2 damage.
2 damage. Okay.
It's just the little
The
guy inside who
charcuterie.
drives your machine.
Yep.
I'm sick.
There's just leaks springing everywhere. I can't do this. I quit.
It's like Men in Black.
That's awesome.
All right. Bolt did that. That happened. The center on the far left, white, is going to fire off into the darkness here, trying to hit Seredan.
Okay.
Into the unknown.
Yep, into the unknown.
Technically, Bolt ran right into the darkness as well.
Here,
They've seen it enough, they're just like, whatever. No big deal.
The first arrow like flies towards the darkness, and the darkness seems to like pulse, and the arrow just kind of like dissolves into nothing because she critically failed that first one. And then the second attack that she's doing is a
Now you got to figure out how to get Craggy to shoot back. Absorb the arrows and shoot.
an
back.
11.
The darkness
to
is
hit.
now a portal hole.
Okay. Yep. And the second one just kind of flies through, comes out the other side, and slams into the barricade. With no issues. Okay. The dwarves are going to go next, and these two dwarves are just kind of like they're looking at this situation with you guys literally abandoning barricades. And they're like, that's ridiculous, and they're just going to fire a pair of heavy crossbows at the orange. Colby, would you give me a roll, and let's do one from Preston as
Nice.
18.
well. And you're adding +3 to that.
21.
So that's a 14 with the +3.
And a 14, both hit. Go ahead and roll me damage, which is going to be. Oh, sorry, it is +4 to hit. Ooh. 1d8 +2, please.
9.
9.
9 as well. 7 +2.
Oh, math. So 18 total.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, a couple good hits as this guy's charging in. You can see boom, boom, just right in the shoulder. He's still barreling forward, but he definitely looks worse for wear. That is orange that they attacked. And then the blue centaur is going to go, and he is going to charge in just straight into the darkness, just trying to barrel on through.
Okay, when he gets here, I'm going to make an opportunity attack on him as he enters my reach.
Oh, because you have Sentinel?
It's Polearm Master.
Polearm Master.
Yeah. That's a 20 to hit, dirty 20.
A 20 will hit.
21, actually, because we have the +1 this
Yes.
round, right?
Yep.
Just for
okay.
one round, right?
Right. Okay, that is 13 damage.
15. Okay. And then he is going to make an attack against you.
Does he come right up?
Yep.
Okay.
And he is charging you.
Okay.
And I am saying that the charge began in the back for those of you at home being like, well, a centaur can't actually blah blah blah. I can do what I want. I'm the dungeon master.
That's right.
And I'm pure evil. This attack
That's my episode.
is a 13. Yes. Okay. And then the attack with its hooves is all a 12. So
Miss.
both of them miss. It just basically goes barreling past you, barrels up to you. You deflect the pike, you back away from the hooves enough. Like you can clearly see this thing is having difficulty for this gentleman.
This gentle horse.
This gentle horse. Ezra.
Horseman.
Okay. Seeing that the dwarven archers are attacking orange, I'm going to move over. Just kind of get up to them.
Okay.
And I'm going to fire on orange as well.
Alrighty.
So that is...
+1.
Yep, so that's 23.
23 will hit. Yes.
And that is nice 12 damage.
Did you add your +2 for the peppermint?
That's 14 damage.
14 damage.
And then I'm also going to use one of my cool trick shot arrows.
Okay.
I'm going to use bursting arrow. So immediately after the arrow hits a creature, the target and all the creatures within 10 feet take 2d6 damage.
So
So,
Purple. And
purple.
those two archers back there.
They're not
technically.
within 10.
Oh, they're not within 10.
They're
Okay.
50.
So that is only 3 damage, but something.
Yeah, that's something. And then purple takes 3. So Ezra moves over, rears back with the bow, and again, as you like pull back the bow, you have that flash of a memory that isn't quite yours, and it's a memory of you fighting the scarab, but instead of like firing arrows at it, trying to pierce its hide, you slam down on it with this booming magical force. And as you kind of like snap out of it and release your bow, you can see that kind of like same spiral of energy, and you guys see this orange streak of magic basically. That, I mean, obviously those of you in the darkness have a little bit more of a difficult time, but you can still see enough of it as it hits, and it just kind of like this sonic boom hits out. The bramble around it just kind of gets flushed away, and then that centaur like reels back from that hit.
Yeah. And it's still like the orange Ezra magic from before, but
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
just
Love it.
an explosion.
And you hear Jared say, "I don't know what you did, lad, but that was awesome."
Shoot, I forgot to use sharpshooter. New character.
New character.
Yeah.
Next time.
Same character, new
No, it's
character.
not. It's the same character. You've always played it.
All right. Is there anything else that Ezra would like to do?
No.
Okay. Then it is the orange centaur's turn. It is going to charge forward until it hits Bolt.
You can't
On
see
that
me.
charge.
Because I'm in the darkness.
Are you in the darkness?
Yep.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, then it's going to charge past you and hit Gerard.
Over the barricade?
Yeah, it basically starts leaping, or it'll leap onto the barricade and try and stab down at him. So he's going to get a +2 because there is partial cover for that. Oh, well, first attack here is a miss. The pike scrapes along, like he brings up his stone fist, and the hooves also miss. So his centaurs are just Yeah. I used all of my good luck on the ambush last time.
This is just karma.
Yes, it is. Then it is. Oh, Gerald's turn to respond.
That's going to be the battle music for this fight.
Somebody roll me a d8, please.
6.
6.
That sounds like the Pink Panther.
Nox is learning how to play that on the trumpet. It's really cool.
And then somebody roll me a d6.
5.
I was always confused
You
why
said
it was on
6,
insulation.
Oh.
The Pink Panther.
Yeah.
It's like, but he's a cartoon. Why is he on
So Gerard blocks this spear coming in. He kind of ducks under the hooves, and then he brings his axe around, and he just takes the legs off of the centaur. And as it's coming down, he smashes his stone fist into its head and just takes it out. So one centaur is gone.
The headless
Boom.
horseman?
It works.
And then you hear him shouting like another battle cry, like, "They got the right idea!" And then he dives over the barricade and runs to the war leader.
He's not in my darkness. Jared.
Go to Rebel
Gerard. The archer at the back is
Yellow?
going to is going to make an attack into the darkness, and we'll say that on odds it is Sarah, evens it is Eve. Evens it is Evens. The first attack is a definite miss, and the second attack. You're going over here for now.
Bad dice.
Nice jam.
Nope. So that's
Gets,
two misses.
it gets eaten by the darkness as well.
Yeah, all of these arrows, like it was like there was almost like these dark tendrils that are coming out, like snatching them out of the air and then just like dissolving them into nothing. And lastly, the purple centaur is going to run up, and it was going to do
20, 25, 30. You can go right with Jared.
Gerard to attack Gerard here.
These are all...
And
These are male centaurs so far?
uh,
Except for the one in the middle?
so
Or
the
two in the
archers
back?
and the war leader are female.
Okay.
The other two now are male.
Okay.
And misses with both attacks. Combat is just. Yeah. Okay. Back to the top of the round here.
This
Victor.
is our comeback.
Yep.
Comeback game.
Don't call it a comeback. You've been here all along.
I'm going to...
We're the comeback kids.
see, so that's... I can't see... Well, so I threw my Shadow Song. Of the movement that's happening, would I recognize the general vicinity where
you
people
still
are
get
at?
vague impressions because technically you're just blinded. You're not like completely unable to see. So you still get
Okay,
vague
so I'm just making
impressions.
sure, like, because I would know that was there when I threw my dagger, but I was just making sure.
Yep.
So what I want to do is I'm going to shift over here. I'm going to
That?
call
You
back.
called her that?
I'm going to call back the. How many can I call up? I think it was up to 2, right? Not the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll call two of them back. Shadow Song and Clinge, and
That's dexterity saving
Dex save,
throws,
yep.
right?
And that's going to be a 12 Dex.
Well, she's really good at making her saving throws. At least she hears like the whistling of Shadow Song, and she like kind of just deflects, or brings her shield back, hoping that it blocks it, and it just kind of bounce off and come back to you.
And then I'll as it comes back, I'm just going to kind of spin and then throw it back at the green one.
Okay.
Go Shadow Song.
You should.
Yeah, that's probably a miss. That's 5 plus 6, I think.
Plus 1.
Plus 1, so that's
And you get your bless.
and bless
D4.
D4. So it's a 3, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Before you finish that up, somebody roll me a d20 because the combat continues to ebb and flow.
Torrey got a 2.
I already got a 2 too.
Yeah. So the elven archers in the back are unleashing a volley So everybody needs to make me dexterity saving throws, please.
With a +4 if you're
15?
if you're blessed.
Doesn't even
Oh
matter.
goodness. Yep. Neither
Okay.
does it matter for me.
11.
7.
I got 11 as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna, I guess, use the rest of my movement. I'm gonna step forward.
Okay. And then you'll need to roll as well. What did you get?
9. Can I leap over these, or
You could probably slide through it there.
okay,
Or slide through.
25.
However you want to do it.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and I'll just get up in there.
Okay. And then roll me a dex save as well, please. So anybody who got under 13 takes 5 piercing damage. As this volley just hits. And then those of you who need to roll concentration checks, do so.
Save.
Yep.
Dex save. Okay. That's 17.
I'm good too.
You're good. Yep. Okay. Alrighty. So Victor, again, tries to toss knives at this warlord. She seems pretty apt with her walking abilities, even in darkness. And then you rush up to her, and Eve, it is your turn.
Excellent. So I will attack the leader with.
You have advantage.
So that is 22 to hit.
22 will hit.
For 9 damage.
9 damage. Okay.
And you know what? Why not add Divine Smite?
Okay, perfect.
Do it.
It's 2d8.
Smash him with a hammer.
Plus 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12 more.
Nice.
12 more.
12 more.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so you come in and just full green energy emanates from your sword as you slash at the war leader. You kind of hit the flank a little bit, and she rears back and lets out a sharp hiss. But she's not down and out yet.
Okay.
She's part snake. Get her. Or she's leaking. Could she be a balloon animal? That life has been breathed into her?
And she actually does say, your paltry gods are nothing compared to the wilds.
Do not speak ill of them.
She's going to attack you as well. Disadvantage here is... The first one is a 14 to hit.
That misses.
Okay, and the second one is a 14 to hit. Yeah, so she comes down with... she's got this spear, but it's actually she's got a great sword, is what she's got. And she comes down with this great sword and just tries to bring it down on your head, and you full on just block the blade and just kind of dig in a little bit. You can hear the predatory growl around you, maybe even escaping from your throat a little bit.
The trio will provide.
You got a little bit of bear speak left in you.
How dare you say that about my mother? All right, Seredan, it's your turn.
Okay. Yeah, Sarah is she's a little ragey right now.
Mm-hmm.
And crits.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm assuming that you are attacking.
I'm attacking green,
yes.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where I've got my Hexblade's Curse. Okay, let's see. So that's 10, right? Plus
Whatever your Hexblade's curse damage is, remember your +2 as well.
No,
Okay.
because he's technically
So
right
that's
there. So 1, 2,
plus.
so she can reach. Yeah.
That's 37 damage.
Which is why I wasn't too
Yes.
worried about chain whip.
What do you do?
she's just she's
Ruh-roh.
not even she's just I don't know, she's got a lot of pent up emotion right now. So she just well, I'm gonna actually just stab my my glaive into the leader and do the same thing that's been happening with the darkness, right? Where it's just she
Yeah.
just kind of
She just kind of
Collapses.
crumples in on herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Eve's got her held off with like the long sword, and she's definitely like trying to push down on it, and you're just having none of that. And Sari just takes your glaive and just like pierces right through. You hear the triumphant like roar of the choir of the crags. Definitely a more like a more deep guttural noise.
Sorry.
As this thing just gets consumed and not this thing. No, I'm doing it. The war leader just gets consumed by darkness.
Nice.
Sari's her
And I
angsty teen face.
heal. I can't remember how much I heal for. Is it? I think it's a
She gotta
flat
start wearing her
number.
hair in front of her.
I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
Butt action on blue.
Okay.
So that is a 28 to hit.
28 will hit.
For okay, sorry, I need to remember.
Max damage.
10 damage.
10 damage. You got the peppermints in there as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And then you just kind of bring the butt in,
Yeah.
Hit the leg of the blue centaur, who can't really see their war leader gone, but definitely can hear the crumpling noises happening.
And she's just
here.
like, "Is this the best the Falcourt can send?"
Yikes. Shh. Sorry. Keep it down now.
Well, I wasn't going to have it.
20
at the
treants.
battle, but
Start
now
walking.
the treant is- we'll go ahead and move on though, to Bolt.
I feel this kind of vacuous pull as the war leader like gets crumpled in.
Yeah.
Stumble forward, but I'm just going to continue that momentum forward.
Okay.
And I'm going to attack purple. Do I get any disadvantage from attacking outside of the darkness?
Again, everything's kind of canceled out as far as that goes. So, yep.
They can't see me or anything.
Yep. Just normal attack.
Yep. And that's just going to be my Thunder Gauntlet. Um, 15.
15 will hit. Okay.
So D8. That's 7 damage.
7 damage to purple.
Yep. And they have disadvantage on any other attacks other than me.
Yeah, your
Sorry.
gauntleted fist comes out and smashes in this kind of thunderous.
Right in the horse kidney.
Yeah.
Boom.
This thing kind of stumbles to the side. You hear Gerard go, "Now that's a weapon."
I like yours as well.
Fist bump.
Yeah. They fist one.
And his rock crumbles off of his hand. It's like,
Oh.
I just reform it. All right. Then the centaur in white is going to go next, and that's another couple archer bolts. She knows exactly who was casting this darkness, so she's going for you.
Okay.
But apparently,
Dude,
I have
all your
not
dice-
rolled above a 5.
These are these are the dice gods.
They are.
They're
They are
giving you a
cursing
small
me.
punishment right now.
Yep, little punishment.
I did put a little
Little
hex on
punishment
them
as a treat.
before
Hey,
we
you
started.
can come back. I think you've been in timeout. Okay. Yep. So a couple.
That's the
bolts
ringleader.
Just kind of go again. This darkness is just kind of ting ting.
Every
just
time
doing
I hear
things
that, I
like-
just think of tiny bolts. Like,
Charge! The dwarves are going to go next. I'm just going to fire off. Let's get Bolt, Eve, and Ezra. Roll me a d20 and add 4 to it.
4 or 3.
4.
17.
19.
23.
Hit. Roll me a d8 and add 2.
7.
3.
9. So 19 total.
19 total. Okay. Math.
Get off your ass and do some math.
Get you a little calculator. Just build it right into the table. So you can just
That'd be nice. Hey, yeah, all 3 of the dwarves and the guards and everything are just like they unleash their volley on that purple centaur. They seem to be a little bit more coordinated in that. And then let's see, the blue centaur is going to go and he's just going to try and pike the person in front of him.
A 2?
And then the hooves come down. Well, that's higher than I've gotten, but it's a 6.
Burn some sage.
That's also a miss. Okay, I've been punished enough. Please.
I guess we all need to like be like, all right, dice gods.
Please,
you've
it's
done
still
enough."
fun for them.
Yeah, I feel a little bad, but not after last week.
Not after last week.
Penitent man kneels.
Ezra, it's your turn.
All right. I'm going to fire off at yellow.
Yellow.
And that's going to be
Don't
a...
get your sharpshooter blast.
Yes, I'm doing sharpshooter.
Okay.
So let's...
Minus
I
5
bless.
plus 10.
If you're
So
blessed.
hold on. So it's...
Numbers.
So that's 14?
14 will hit.
Did you roll
Okay.
bless?
Yeah, that's with plus. I rolled kind of bad. So that's... Nice. So that's 12, 14 damage, and I'm gonna again do an exploding thing on this guy.
Okay.
So it's 14.
And that was with your sharpshooter bonus added, right?
24.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So another 10 on top of that, right?
Yeah.
29, and I'm gonna dump these in there.
Only one. You can only use
Okay. Only one. Okay, so I'll use the lower one, 5 more. So 34 damage.
The lower one's 5. So 6.
And let's just end this.
Sorry, well, 35?
35.
35. Yeah, this bolt just like goes, not bolt, this is an arrow.
Oh no! Sorry.
Right in the chest cavity.
Yeah,
It's-
right. It slams right
Sharpshooter,
into
I just
that.
closed my eyes.
Into that centaur.
Princess Mononoke style. You just
Yeah.
like.
She lets out a
arms.
shriek as you basically like pierce right through her side. Again, it kind of explodes outward. The archers are hit and tumbled around. She's not dead.
Oh, I thought you said do it.
It explodes through her side, but
My
she's
bad.
still standing.
Just
Yeah, she hasn't
really
been
torn
hit yet.
up.
The brambles are removed. The archers are going to pull back next round.
Okay, well then if she's
Probably.
not dead, I'm gonna action surge and shoot her again.
Okay.
So
Still only
Do
counts
that.
as one.
So that's 8. 17 to hit. I didn't sharpshooter this one. I didn't
Yes,
declare
17.
before, so
Yep.
17. So that's 10, 12. And I'll pour this in.
You don't have to.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and just let you know that right now.
Finish
Now
it
she-
off.
Yep. Now she's gone. The second arrow, like
Nice.
she like rears up, and the second one just goes right through the horse heart or whatever. I don't know how centaur works.
The human heart and the horse heart
Yep.
both explode.
Yep, and she just collapses. So good job. Again, these memories that are coming to you, you're not quite sure where they're coming from, and you're not quite sure where this magic is coming from, but you're definitely like tapping into some power that you never have before.
Victor started out feeling inferior. Now he feels even worse. Thanks, Ezra.
Don't worry. Still do more damage than Bolt. Good.
It's perfect.
Sherrod is going to go next. Go ahead and just do this quick. See, I'm rolling really good for the good guys.
Sure, yeah, for the dwarves.
Because that's 2 hits.
Timora be praised.
He pissed off Avandra.
And that's again, he's kind of a kill stealer. He kicks this one. He kicks the hoof inward on this centaur, and as it comes down, he just grabs the head with his stone fist and just slams it into the ground. You hear that,
He has to jump.
that telltale crunch, and that centaur does not get back up.
Colby.
And he goes, "You all fight well. I hope you die just as well." Not like evilly. Like he doesn't say that evilly. Like it's more about like let's die with honor type of thing. So
I know what you meant. It was good.
glory to you.
And your house.
Then it is. No, wait, no, it's not centaur purple because centaur purple is centaur dust. Victor, it is your turn.
All right, I'm going to.
Oh wait, sorry. Top of the round.
Oh, please.
Top of the morning to you.
Let's get a d20 roll from somebody who hasn't done it yet.
I don't want to do it because I.
With advantage because you took out their leader this round.
All right.
Well, good.
It's with advantage.
It was either a 1 or a 17, so. I would think.
Yeah, so you guys have a morale bonus in the form of an epic die each.
All right.
Pass those around.
Going down.
as basically you're just carrying on this momentum. Gerard is shouting forward. The centaurs are looking very nervous. The archers are going to pull back behind more cover now into the woods even more. So they will not be attacking this round. And yeah, go ahead, Victor.
I'm going to rough and tumble this way. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's right there.
Okay.
And I'm going to call back my 2 blades
sounds good.
as bonus action, so DC is 12. Dex save.
Both fail.
Okay. So that's a 1d4
For
flat.
each.
So that's oh, come on. D4. 6 damage.
6
Total
damage
between the 2 of them.
to blue.
Yep, to blue. And then I'm going to use my action as they come back. I'm going to take the 2 of them and like grind them across each other and use the honed blade as my 3rd performance point.
Okay.
So
they'll have extra.
yeah, so on the next time I attack with each of them, they'll have a little extra.
Sounds good. Alrighty.
That's it.
And then
Hopefully it
Need him
sparks.
back now.
Steve.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Yep. So these blades come back and slice along the flank. This horse can't, or the centaur can't quite get away. He knows he's surrounded, but he can't tell from where. And then it is Eve's turn.
Okay, so you will attack with your long sword. Boo. Yes. Much better. That was 14. Plus 5. So, 19.
19 will hit.
4. Can I add this into
Absolutely.
Plus 2, so 6.
6 damage total.
Plus 3. 9.
9. Okay. 9. Thank you.
The peppermints doesn't apply to that, would it?
Yeah.
So would it be each, or
Mhm.
I would be collectively?
I'd take
So that's
each.
plus 2, so that'd be 4 more.
4 more. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that would. Same thing with like sneak attack. I assume it does not, because that I think requires me to hit something, which
Yeah.
I'm checking on now.
Yeah.
So,
Sneak attack wouldn't apply to those.
Requires a melee or a weapon attack.
Yeah.
weapon attack when you hit with an attack with a finesse. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So that centaur is looking very, very worse for wear.
Excellent.
Seredan.
Okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna make an attack on blue. And no, never mind, it's not X-Blade cursed. So it's a 29.
That'll hit. What's your damage bonus?
Right now it's +7 with the peppermint.
Yep.
Okay.
Another
So-
centaur gets pierced by like tendrils of darkness and ripped to pieces.
Nice.
Remember when people were saying that our episodes had so much whimsy to them?
Still whimsy.
Okay, so I'm gonna move up right here and do the blunt end
The blood
against
twirls
white
into a
here.
lollipop, is it?
And that is a
Burst into a cloud of butterflies.
23 to hit.
Yep.
Cut their neck and it's just
For
spraying butterflies.
nice.
That's the whimsy.
13 damage.
13 damage.
That's
Solid.
and I say now might be a good time to run away.
She agrees, but it's not her turn yet. Bolt, it is yours, in fact.
No, I'm not going to run away. I'm going to run towards. Get right up to white. Attack.
Okay.
19.
19 will hit.
4 damage.
4
with the
damage.
thunder.
Okay.
And then they have disadvantage. You know what? I'm going to use this too. Do it. 7 damage total.
So 3 more.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it is her turn, and she is going to disengage and run.
Okay. I was at first like,
Yeah.
I don't
So
have
she-
the sentinel feet.
She
Never
kind
mind.
of
I don't
rears
get to
back
stealth
and like
weapon.
lashes her hooves out to kind of get you two to back off, and then she runs, and so do the elves in the forest.
Can I get a shot off as she's running?
Sure, I'll let you go ahead and get a shot off.
I'm gonna add sharpshooter. Yeah. And I'm gonna add one of these in there just in case. Okay. 3, 12, 15, plus 8, 23.
3 minus 5.
I already minus 5. 23.
You have an 8. You have a +8 to your attack roll with a -5.
Well, yeah, plus 8 to hit.
Oh,
so
but
he's
then
got the
minus 5.
archery.
But I've also got an epic die and a D4 in there as well. So that's
Yeah, and you hit.
helpful.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's spent. And it's just a D8. I don't have any more fun stuff to put in there. For 7 damage.
Plus 10.
Push them.
Oh,
17.
17 damage.
Yeah, it pierces right through her, and she collapses.
You can't escape.
Boom.
There's no honor in running away.
So the elves are already pulling back in. You can see the treant kind of... He's been watching this whole thing, and he just like angrily eyes you all as he pulls the brambles back together, and they all kind of disappear into the jungle. But Gerard is very much like, come on, this is the first opportunity that we've had to get the advantage. Let's push forward. And he starts running into the forest. All the follow shields start following him.
I follow him.
Yeah. I follow you.
Into the breach!
The rest of the guards from Belle's watch stay behind. They're not as certain. Like they're being led by that Tushan adept right there, and he's just kind of like, we'll protect the flank, I suppose. But we'll find out what happens in the Emerald Wilds next time. Hopefully it'll be exciting. Hopefully it'll return.
No doubt.
For every one of us here, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all that good stuff. Sharing with your friends. Sharing it on social media if you really like it that much. We love it. And we love you. And have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.